Hello again. The time has come to investigate in Investigations 2. So, let's go looking around. We are in the main hall of the art gallery, which was once the manor of Samson Tangaroa, but we are now trying to find out what went down here. Let's see. Okay, so we have a different set of... Okay. Yeah. His hair turned white. Samson Tangaroa. Alright. But anyway, we are going to be looking around here. We have Mr. Winner and the judge over there. But we need to look around. Do we have any logic yet? I had a feeling that we had some logic. Yeah, the minty fragrance. So, Ubiquarium is a red liquid with a minty fragrance. Okay. So that's a fact that we've had for a bit, but we haven't actually been able to do anything with it yet. So I'm curious what might end up needing to be done there. But let's just check around and see if we can get some stuff. We have Mr. Larice over here, and we have Eddie, the goat defense attorney. But for now, let's look at the tray with all the very decorative tea sets that our murder victim from a long time ago made. Let's see what we got. Miss Bound's tea set is laid out neatly on the serving cart. The pamphlet says the gallery is famous for its tea. Understandably so. The cup we were given was delicious. Looks like all of this stuff was designed by Mr. Frost. Interesting. In that case, I think we'd better take a closer look. Let's see what we got. A caddy containing Ceylon tea leaves. It's a well-crafted tin canister designed to prevent moisture and sunlight from damaging its contents. Not a bad thing to use, considering the quality of the blend Miss Bound serves. Alright. The tablecloth draped over the cart is pure white and completely spotless. And it's just waiting for me to grab it by the edge, clear my mind, and whoosh! Okay. I cannot stress enough how bad of an idea that would be. Aw, come on. What's the worst that can happen? Even if it does go all sideways, we'll just wind up with a cool tea-colored tie-dye. Yes, well, I'd rather it remained white. Plus, I don't think Miss Bound would appreciate us meddling with it. Really? But there are so many other colors that would totally work. Pink? Sky blue? Tea leaves brown? Nice. K. I don't know what K's up to there. But we have some more things to look at here. So, what's this? There we go. So this dishware was made by Artie Frost. It looks very fancy. Oh, it is. I'm willing to bet that this set can fetch something in the thousands of dollars. So let's try not to touch any of it unless we absolutely have to. Whoa, this stuff's really worth that much? That's an expensive tea. Stop it, Kay. I can see your eyes lighting up. Miss Bound must really be a fan of Mr. Frost, like Fender said, to still have this. Designed by Paul Halik, who we know as Artie Frost, one of Judy Bound's prized possessions. So it went into evidence. That's interesting. Oh, what? Hey, Edgy! What is it? You be careful with that teapot, you hear? Oh no, Larry, did you break something? Oh no, I'm starting to get suspicious of you, buddy. Why is Larry so concerned all of a sudden? Honored guests. I can pour you a cup if you like. Miss Bound. Judy! Hey! I'm good, thanks. No tea for me. You two knock yourselves out. Thank you for the offer. Well, yes, why not? A quick break won't hurt. 2 cups coming right up. Smells great. Wow, it tastes even better than it smells. What type of tea is this, Mr. Edgeworth? It's Ceylon, I believe. It's usually identifiable by its citrus aroma, but... Miss Bound, is this the same blend you served this morning? Why, yes, it is. Is it all right? There isn't anything wrong with it, is there? Oh no, not at all. It's just that the cup you gave me earlier had a slightly different aroma. The aroma's different from this morning. What has changed? Larry... I'm really thinking Larry did something. Also, the fact that he refused a cup of tea from his current, female obsession. It seems a little out of character for him. Really? That's odd. I used the exact same blend both times. I can't see what could account for the difference. I mean, he's got that other girlfriend, but, you know, Larry and his girlfriends, they're not, they're soon parted, like a fool and his whippy whip trips, or whippity whips. Hey, what's the big idea? Quit being mean about Judy's tea, will you? What's gotten under your skin, Larry? Nothing! You just... Rude, that's all! You don't even try to call me by the right name! It's Laurice Donim! Dang it! You know what? I'm done! I'm not talking to you anymore! Well, that was childish even for him. Wow, what happened there? Let's ask him about it later, shall we? Talking to Miss Bound is more of a priority right now. We may not have any evidence to prove that she's the culprit, but it does seem likely that the poison gas was her doing. Whoa! Really? I hadn't really considered that myself. Like, was it a trap if somebody was gonna try to mess with the exhibit? Or what? You know? That's confusing. But, okay, I'll go with it. Alright, have we looked at everything here? Is every suspicious-looking tea and crumpet been examined? I think so. Alright. Yeah, there's a check mark. So we can talk to Judy. We can look at this ridiculous stuff. Let's look at this first. It's a man with a moon-shaped head and a woman with a sun-shaped head. The man's got a real pained look in his eyes, though. Is this another Paul Halik piece? Yes, from his younger years, when he was something of a dreamer. He depicted those closest to him by means of a motif taken from nature. The piece is titled, My Parents. Yes, the mom shone brightest in that house. Okay. Ooh, that's kind of cool. What's this? It's a sculpture of a brave warrior battling against a serpent. Did Paul Halik make this one too, Mr. Edgeworth? He did. It seems he was fascinated by fantasy and mythology when he was a young man. This piece embodies the tragic yet gritty determination of the young as they face an impossible situation. It's called The Math Test. Talk about relatable! Okay. How does Edgeworth know all this, by the way? Like, does he just happen to be a fan of Paul Halik's? Statues of a man and woman in old-timey clothes. Did Paul Halik make these as well? Yes, it seems he created them later in his life, once he had begun to make a name for himself. His wife pushed him to sculpt the two of them as ancient gods, and he couldn't say no to his beloved. The title is The Beautiful Goddess Venus and Her Humble Servant. Wow, talk about putting your goddess on a literal pedestal. Here comes Mr. MVP. What? Again, Edgeworth, you seem highly knowledgeable about these things. Why? Alright, what about the tree? Is this a Paul Halik? I feel like we're getting to, like, you know, the Midgar Zolom from Final Fantasy VII. Did Paul Halik do this? This thing in front of the door is a fir tree, right? Yes, they're usually associated with winter, but this door leads to the autumn wing. I suppose it's all part of someone's elaborate ruse. I could paint it red for that autumny feel. Evergreens stay green all year round, Kay. Hence the name. Sure, I knew that. What about this, though? That's red. Oh, we talked to Winner instead. Do you mind, Mr. Winner? You're in my way. You actually are. I'm trying to look at that tree. A tree is far more interesting than you are. I'm sorry. I do mind, actually, and I'm not going anywhere. You'll just have to go around me. Well, we just thought you might want to move to a better spot, that's all. What better spot? I demand you show it to me at once. Is that really all it takes to make you do whatever we want? Here we go. The door here is marked with a nice, autumny-looking tree. And yet, it leads to the winter wing. Suppose it's all part of the deception. I could steal the leaves if you like. Make things a little more wintry. I think you'd better leave them alone, Kay. Oh! I don't know if that was an intended pun, but I just kind of automatically slipped it in there. It's a selection of trophies won by Paul Halik, or rather, Artie Frost. Evidently, he was a very well-respected artist. Well, you've got one too, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, it's about time I won one too. Guess I'll have to find some thieving contests to enter. Or you could set something up. Something with a nice ceremony at the end. All of that. Yes, followed by a swift round of arrests. The Thief Awards. Yeah. Well, hey, for those who remember, Edgeworth is currently the king of prosecutors, and apparently he just kept it for like 4 years running now. What's this? Oh, what is this? From the color and aroma, I'd say this is a puddle of spilt tea. And look, there's a small chunk of ceramic in it. Ah, gotcha, Larry. You broke a tea set. Oh man, you're in trouble now. Found in a puddle of tea. The design looks familiar. Oh yeah, it does. I guess somebody must have broke something? I know that insignia. And a certain high-strung somebody just might know a little something too. Yep, we gotta go confront him. Get over here. I'm going to keep this simple, Larry. You're hiding something. So just tell me what it is. Stare. Stare down. Oh, quit it with the glare off, you two. It's weird. Oh, come on, Kay. You know me better than that. I wasn't staring. I was struck by an idea for a picture. Now, Edgy, he was glaring. Yes, and I'll keep glaring at you until you tell us what it is you're hiding. Quit it! I already told you. I'm not talking to you anymore. You're talking to me right now. I mean, from now on. I'm not talking to you ever again. Starting now. This is getting me nowhere. I suppose I'll have to figure out what he's hiding first before I can get the whole truth out of him. Yeah, that's right, Larry. Be careful. Edgeworth might teleport you to the chess dimension again. Wanna look at my badge? Oh, you're not talking to me, are you? He's literally not talking. I love it. I love it. What are you hiding? Come on, Larry. What are you hiding? Not saying. I love that just neutral expression on his face. Look, you two, this is no time for kids' games. Well, I certainly wasn't playing. It's pretty clear Larice isn't going to talk to you. Oh, he'll talk. Don't you worry about that. I need to know what Larry is hiding. And I think I might have an idea of what it is. Perhaps presenting him with the right piece of evidence will force him to come clean. Like this? Would you mind taking a look at this for me, Larry? Why would you show me that? Tell me, what is it about Miss Bound's tea set that's got you so agitated? If you won't tell me, then perhaps you'd prefer to explain it to Judge Gavelle. Wait! Don't make me look bad in front of Verity! She thinks I'm a sensible, cool, clean-cut guy! No, she doesn't. Doubt. I don't want her to see the real me. The real, low-down, dirty me! I'm not so sure anybody here thinks you're particularly clean-cut, Larry. But if you don't want her to think badly of you, the best thing you can do is talk to me. Hey, all right, I'll talk. He likes a spot of tea, Edgeworth. Chill. I mean, Larry likes to literally spot tea on the floor, apparently. There you go, look at my badge. What's the point of having a badge if you just keep it in your pocket? It proves my status as a qualified prosecutor. Stuff like that. Just gets in the way of doing good work. What is that supposed to mean? As in, your official status doesn't mean a thing, man. It's about the person, not the badge. I mean, look at me. How many job titles have I had? But I'm still the same old me. Still the same old pain in the neck, too. You just couldn't help yourself, could you? Would it kill you to be nice just once in your life? All right, what are you hiding? All right, Larry, enough is enough. Now, confess. Is this any way to treat your best friend, Edgy? Is this any way for you to treat yours? Oh, that's the first typo I've come across. By lying to him, hiding things. I get the picture already, so stop glaring at me like that. I'll tell you everything, okay? Earlier, I thought Verity might like a cup of tea, so I went to pour one for her, but I got distracted, and my hand slipped, and smash! I broke the teapot, a priceless work of art. It's in pieces because of me! No words exist to describe how far away I saw this coming from. Exactly. Ouch, she really messed up this time, Larice. See, Edgy, everyone's gonna think less of me now. Judy's never gonna forgive me for this. Crying to me won't do any good. I think you need to apologize to Miss Bound. My teapot? I see. I'm sorry, Judy. I'm so sorry. I don't have any money, but I'll paint your portrait. I'll paint you 50 portraits. Please, Mr. Donin. It's really me who should be apologizing. How could I have failed to notice that there were broken pieces of ceramics on the floor? Somebody could have been hurt. Here, let me make sure that's safely disposed of. The teapot in question was designed by Artie Frost, correct? I understand it was something you've long treasured. You must be upset. Oh, I am. But of course, all things break eventually. And as luck would have it, I have another identical teapot. It's far from the end of the world. Is she less attached to Mr. Frost's work than she used to be? Yeah, that's a weird reaction there. I can't believe this, Judy. You're the sweetest, the kindest. This other teapot you're talking about, it's the one sitting on top of the cart right now, right? What do you mean? Yeah, so when I smashed the first one, I tried to hide the pieces in the bottom of the cart. And that's when I saw that other pot under there, so I took it out and basically switched the two pots. Oh, there's a logic there. Larry switched the pots. Interesting. The fact that he's Larry is why he's had so many jobs. Well, yeah, I mean, Larry, what's he been at this point? He was a statue. He made a statue. He was a samurai dog seller. He was a security guard. I'm trying to remember what else we have for Larry here. He's obviously Larice, the artist. And then he's been the steel samurai in a temp position. That's off the top of my head. That's what I can remember. It might kill Edgeworth to be nice. Yeah, Edgeworth he doesn't really have a nice setting. And even after he's had his, turn to being a nice guy, he's still like not a nice guy. He's a good guy, but he's not nice about it. Oh, I see. Yep, and that's everything I have to tell you. I'll be extra careful not to break the other one. I promise. You have no shame whatsoever, do you? I'm sorry. It's really quite all right. Thank you for being so honest. See, Edgy, isn't Judy the absolute best? I trust you won't take advantage of her kindness and will make amends somehow. I sure will. Once I make it as an artist, I'm gonna give her one of my paintings. She was one of my models, after all. It's only fair. At this rate, I suspect he's likely to make more trouble than amends. Don't you think it would be better for you to keep out of her way for a very long while?
Oh, but I will be keeping out of her way, because I sketched her and the others already.
Her and the others?
Came to see my work, huh? Yeah, I drew a few great sketches of some ravishing beauties. You want to see?
Interested in Larissa's ravishing beauties, huh, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm afraid you've greatly misjudged, Kay. I simply wish to see if Larry has captured any unusual details this time, too. Unusual details? Nothing's unusual about these. They're my best work yet.
Really? Now I want to see them, too.
Aw, you're a sweetheart, Kay. All right, let me dig them out for you. Give me a sec, okay?
I suppose we might as well take a look. I mean, this is before Larice apparently actually convinces Francisca to do Franzie's whippity-whip trip, and it's actually somewhat successful, which is one of the weirder revelations in that DLC case in Spirit of Justice. All right, your sketches. So these sketches of yours.
Seriously, Edgy, if you wanted to check out my art, you should have just said so from the get-go. Here, feast your eyes on this.
What am I looking at here?
This is... okay. Oh, boy. I told you already. Ravishing beauties. Just a few of the fair faces that have caught my eye since I've been here. You know, there's Verity and Judy and... somebody else.
Why did you draw them all on the same page?
I like this somebody else. He's like, yeah, I think we can tell who has most of his attention. Well, I meant to draw the room at first, just something to pass the time. And then I saw one beauty and another, and well, I just scribbled them all down as I went.
So these were all drawn at different times?
Huh? Yeah, I guess. I did one of you too, Kay. You're on a different page, though.
Wow, you did? I'm flattered. How true to life are these sketches? Did you only draw what you actually saw?
Of course! You think I draw things I can't see? Like, using my imagination? Nope, these are 100% true to life. Right down to the exact shade of each color.
So the colors are accurate. Interesting. Much as it pains me to admit it, Larry may have provided me with a useful piece of evidence yet again. The serving card in the sketch, for example. If I compare it to the one here in the room, there's a clear contradiction between the two. I think a little deduction is in order.
Yep.
Could I borrow this page for a while, Larry?
Sure thing. You want me to sign it for you?
Just the page, please.
Larry sketches. Yeah, I see. Well, what's Delicia doing? Why is she hastily and nervously washing something in the fountain? Right? Anyway, Larry, go away. We can talk to... let's talk to Judy real quick. We haven't talked to her in a bit. Where were you before you rejoined us here, Miss Bound?
I had to go and tell our visitors we're closed. Oh, and hand out a little something, an apology. Was there something you wanted to talk to me about?
Yes, a few things, actually. Not least of all, the fact that I think you might be the one who set the poison gas trap. Alright? Judy, look at my badge.
I must admit I was a little surprised to learn that Gregory Edgeworth's son had become a prosecutor. But then, I'm sure a lot has happened since.
Yes, that much is certainly true. Though I'll spare you the details.
And yet the two of you are so alike. You may have chosen different paths, but I can tell you're every bit as righteous and noble as he was.
That's very kind of you to say. When it came to his work, my father always had the strength of his convictions. Right now, I'm like a ship lost at sea. I'm not even sure which way to go, let alone who I should be. Alright, we got the sketches.
Oh my, is that me?
Yes, it was painted by the so-called artist over there.
It's wonderfully drawn. Would you mind if I kept it?
I'm sorry, Miss Bound. I'm afraid it's an important piece of evidence.
Oh, I see. That's a shame.
I suppose Larry's charm is something of a talent if he can impress a gallery owner with sketches like these. Alright, oh yeah, we want to ask her about the poison gas. Hey, about that poison gas trap you set, what's that about? The original ice sculptures melted 18 years ago, correct? How did you manage to recreate them?
Oh, you know about what happened back then? In that case, you might also know I took pictures of them during the contest. I commissioned the creation of a set of replicas based on these photographs for this current exhibit. But why go through the trouble of creating replicas? Mr. Frost's Zodiac series was his great unfinished masterwork. I wanted to see it completed at last. Or rather, recompleted. It was my fault that the original set melted in the first place, after all.
I see. And is there any particular reason why the winter and autumn wings look so similar?
Oh my! You really think they look alike? Perhaps I used some of the decorations from one and the other by accident.
She's clearly lying. But I don't have the evidence to prove it just yet. I mean, evidence or just, hey, it's literally the same room that are supposedly two very different themes. Alright. Let's deduce. I mean, obviously, this has tea on it, and the other thing has chocolates? There's a clear contradiction here. There is? I can't see one. Maybe you need a break. Another cup of tea, maybe? To think it over a little more? Perhaps you're right. Looking at it again, I think I may have been mistaken. We've seen Miss Bound using this serving card with the white tablecloth, but something about it is nagging at me. I should take another look at the evidence. Alright, so what did I miss there? Let's look at our evidence again. So, wait a minute. That's a blue tablecloth. Yeah, that tablecloth is blue, in addition to having chocolates on it. Right? Or is that like, hang on a second. Wait a minute. A blue tablecloth? Could it be a luminous cloth? This dark shade of blue. Being around such a calming color from time to time just might do me some good. It's also just the right color for sneaking around in the dead of night. But I'd need something a lot brighter if I wanted to make a big splashy entrance. You can do both with this cloth through the power of buttons, though. Oh yeah! In that case, I'll take 5. Okay. Is there anything else we can actually look at? Oh, is this the color controls? Yeah. These must be the switches that change the color of the cloth. Let's see if they work. Look at that. Well, the cloth has certainly changed color. Oh, that's cool. Can I change it again? Oop. Or no? I guess not. Let's look at it again. It's glowing with a pale blue hue. And according to Detective Gumshoe, this is what it looked like when it was still draped over that statue. Indeed. But what does that have to do with the case? Yeah, what does that have to do with the case? Or is this just like extraneous detail? Can we do the tablecloth? Is this the tablecloth? Yeah, tablecloth. Okay. Is that it? That the tablecloth is blue in the sketch and it's white here? Alright, let's see. Okay, I was just on the wrong thing. Larry, could I ask you something about your sketches? Fascinated by the work of the great Louis Stoneam, huh? It's the composition, right? Not exactly. This light blue tablecloth, you painted that exactly as you saw it, correct? I already told you. Everything is exactly as I saw it. But the tablecloth on the cart here in this room is white. Wow. Your head's so full of crazy theories. The simple stuff just passes you right by, huh? What's that look for? Listen, just before I drew that sketch, I was in the middle of some business with the cart with the tea set on it, okay? What kind of business? That's right. It was the hiding the pieces of the teapot I smashed kind. That's nothing to boast about. Anyway, I was still in the middle of cleaning it all up when Judy came out of the winter wing. I didn't want to get busted for breaking the pot, so I quickly dove out of sight. Oh, she had a second cart. Wait, Miss Bound came out of the winter wing? Yeah, and she was pushing a cart. A different one. That's the one with the light blue tablecloth on it that I drew. That's got to be the tarp, right? Because it turned light blue. And what did she do with this second serving cart? Well, I saw her wheel it into the summer wing, but I don't know what happened to it after that. When she came back out, she was pushing one of those other carts, the kind you can lift stuff with. A lift cart? Yeah, so I called out to her, but she just ran off and left it behind. Never had her down to the shy type, but it just goes to show, you never know. Another serving cart. And a lift cart. Is there maybe another tea set too? We'd better check with Miss Bound. Alright. Let's see. The two carts. Are there two serving carts here at the gallery, Miss Bound? Oh, yes. Why do you ask? A certain so-called artist showed us the sketch. I couldn't help but notice the color of the tablecloth. It's light blue. Light blue? I'm afraid your friend must be mistaken. I only use white tablecloths, freshly laundered and starched. Like the perfect wrinkle-free one on the cart here in the fountain room, right? Exactly. If I saw so much as a blemish, I would replace it right away. Could the color of the tablecloth in the sketch simply be a mistake on Larry's part? Do you have an idea of what you might have been doing when this sketch was drawn? Let me see. I appear to be carrying out my usual duties. I'd like to ask you a little more about these duties, if I may. Your work. What exactly were you doing when this sketch was drawn? Because from what I can see, your cart doesn't have a tea set on it. I was delivering some chocolates to the investigating officers. Oh, now I'm jealous. I love chocolate. Well, there were a few left over, so here, for you both. I made them myself. I hope you like them. Woohoo! Thanks, Miss Bound. Well, why not? They're a little melted, but I suppose that's because they've been sitting around in her pocket. Chocolates data jotted down. Nice, okay. They're super sweet. I love them. I'm very glad to hear it. They may not be the prettiest, but I'm grateful for the energy boost nonetheless. Though perhaps they could do with a little less sugar. Alright. Let's see. Oh yeah, what's this here? Why is there a lift cart just sitting here out in the open? Guess somebody must have been moving something heavy. The top of the platform seems to be wet. You know, I've got a funny feeling I've seen this thing somewhere before. You mean like 18 years ago? Yeah, it's all coming back to me now. I saw it in Frost's room. He must have used it to move the ice sculptures around. One of those fancy numbers where you can change not only the platform's height, but even its angle. If you had one of these, you could move giant lumps of ice around, no sweat. The lift cart data. Okay, cool. Oh, just think of the possibilities. I could really use one of these. Still doesn't explain what it's doing here, though. Bit of a head scratcher, but we should give it a think, yeah? Indeed. It might just have something to do with our case. With a lift cart, you can move chunks of ice anywhere you want. That's right. Exactly. Hey there, Miles Areno. What's the situation with the investigation? Things are progressing. I think a fuller picture of what happened is beginning to emerge. Good to hear. Guess I better step up my game too then. You want to talk about my prosecutor's badge? Miles Edgeworth, prosecutor. I gotta say, I never saw that coming. I'm sorry, Fender. Hey, that wasn't a dig. You had your reasons, I'm sure. I'm just glad you'll get to see what the courtroom looks like from the other side for once. It's a whole different ballgame, let me tell you. Actually, I have stood at the defense's bench once before, and I have to say, it wasn't bad. Hey, wow! We just vaguely referenced something that happened in the third game, when he was pretending to be Phoenix Wright, to the Canadian judge. Alright. Anything else we want to talk about? Yeah, we can just talk about the two incidents. This case seems to have a lot in common with the incident from 18 years ago. And how? It's got the lot. Melting statues and the winter wing, and even the murder victim's body. But how did nobody ever figure out that the body had gone missing? Frost had no family apart from his son. And, well, the kid kind of vanished. Nobody's seen him since around the time of the incident. Gusto's son, too. Him and his best pal from school both just up and disappeared. What? And they were never found? Gusto's boy wasn't. Not as far as I heard, anyhow. Guess Frost's kid turned up in the end, though. He collected his inheritance at some point. But yeah, with no family around just after the incident, Frost got no funeral, no nothing. So no need for the police to release the body. And no need for anybody to find out they didn't have it. They filed their fake autopsy report, and nobody was any the wiser. Well, almost nobody. I still can't believe Mr. Von Karma would have stooped so low. Oh, I would. I believe that. Oh, is this the spring? Those are tulips by the door, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, it leads to the spring wing. Spring. A popular time to move house, which makes it open season for great thieves. Housebreaking is a little beneath a great thief, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I guess you're right. Alright. What's the... Nope. Alright. And I want to look at the summer flowers. I'm not allowed to? Oh no! I can't look at the whole set. Terrible. Oh, there we go. They put sunflowers by the door. Nice! A fitting adornment for the entrance to the summer wing, I suppose. Summer is also vacation time, and every great thief knows that means tourists with bulging wallets. Pickpocketing, Kay? Isn't that a little beneath a great thief? Yeah, maybe you're right. Oh, no, we already looked at that statue. What about the fountain? There we go. It seems the police have already removed the body. But why did the body of a victim from 18 years ago turn up in this fountain? And why wasn't it all rotten and stuff? Did it slowly shuffle its way here? Oh no, it's a Resident Evil crossover. Need I remind you that zombies aren't real? It seems likely that the body was preserved somehow. Really? Is that even possible? Hey, Mr. Forensics guy, anything to report? Yes, ma'am. Traces of both ubiquium and asphyxium have been detected in the fountain. I'm gonna say they were probably carried here by the stream from the autumn wing. In addition to those two chemicals, there's also a large amount of sugar. The composition of the sugar is being analyzed as we speak. There's sugar in the fountain. Where would it even have come from? That's a good question. The body's been taken back to the lab, sir. Autopsy's underway. And how's the rest of the fountain looking? Rather beautiful, actually, sir. The water is crystal clear and kind of soothing. Almost as if there wasn't a body floating in it not so long ago, Yeah, I mean, the fact that there was this... it's body water. I mean, it's corpse water. Ugh. Not a fan. We got this.
in the elevator. Okay. It seems the elevator is only accessible to select individuals. I wonder what's upstairs. Among other things, the medical room. That's where Mr. Gusto is being treated. I hope he's all right. We've got some questions that need answering as soon as he wakes up. Since there's no way of knowing when that might be, we should explore other avenues in the meantime. Agreed. What's this? Mr. Winter was very clear that you're only allowed to investigate in this room. So I'm afraid I can't let you pass. Sorry, sir. I wouldn't make much difference if you did, officer. You're standing in front of a wall. Oh, but we all know a few bricks won't stop you, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, sir. Wow. He actually sounds kind of scared of you. Just what kind of reputation do I have down at the precinct? Well, it was a pretty bad one for a while there, but I think it's gotten better. Let's talk to Verity. Don't think you've gotten away with anything, Mr. Edgeworth. I'll be reporting your actions to the committee. Do whatever you need to do, Judge Gavelle. And we'll do the same. You are the self-styled great thief, correct? Mr. Edgeworth's association with such a character will be of interest to the committee, too, of course. Go ahead and report me to your stupid committee. I'll be the toast of the thieving community. It looks like Judge Gavelle will have to think up some new threats if she wants to intimidate Kay. We haven't talked to Delicia yet. Hello there, dearie. Still investigating away, are you? Found anything interesting? No, dearie. Well, nothing much anyway. Silly girl, that wasn't a dearie moment. That was more of a lambkin. Sweetheart is for when you're being sympathetic, of course, and treasure is for when they're in a tiz. Love is for people you're not that keen on, and pedal you use when they're trying to get someone's attention. Wow, I didn't realize there were so many rules. Mr. Edgeworth, pedal, I hope you're getting all this down. Don't even try it, Kay. Oh, dearie me. Has Kay ever actually stolen it? No, I don't think she has, at all. But, I mean, she is a thief in training, so. Let's see. I think we have to logic now, because I think we've kind of exhausted all avenues. So, I think we're down to logicking. I just want to make sure I have everything before we start putting that brain to work. Alright, let's go. Alright. The tea smells different and switched to teapots. Obviously is a connection. I suspect the difference in aroma we noticed is due to the teapots having been switched. You do? I can't see what else it could have been. The tea itself hadn't changed. Why don't we ask Miss Bound, just to be sure? Miss Bound, the difference in aroma we noticed, do you think it could have been because of the different teapot? I suppose so. My cup just now had a subtle minty scent. Rather like uva tea. Oh, I just remembered. I made some peppermint tea in that pot only yesterday. That must be where the minty aroma is coming from. Ah, teapot's leftover aroma. But wait a minute! Doesn't Asphyxian have a minty kind of taste to it? Or, like, smell? Could that really be it? Yeah, Ubiquium is a red liquid with a minty fragrance. The tea has a refreshing aroma because it's in a different teapot from this morning. I don't know about that! Aha! The tea from the teapot Larry switched in from under the cart smelled faintly of mint. Right, Miss Bound said she used that pot to make peppermint tea yesterday. Yes, but there's something else that's been troubling me. Miss Bound seemed more taken aback by the switching of the teapots than the breaking of one. You're right! You'd expect it to be the other way around. I suspect she might have been deliberately hiding the teapot underneath the cart. But why? One of Ubiquium's key characteristics is its minty fragrance. So what if she had been hiding some in that teapot? What? In the teapot? It's simply a possibility, but one worth investigating, I believe. Mr. Winner, any luck finding that Ubiquium? Huh? Oh!
My people are searching the entire gallery, but they haven't found anything yet. And what about you? Don't tell me you know where it came from. I may have an idea. Ha! I knew it! If I can't find it, there's no chance of use. What? You do know where it came from? Yes. Where? Miss Bound's teapot. Wow, nice piece. I like it. Yeah, this looks like a fitting prize for a natural-born winner. It's not a prize, it's a vital piece of evidence. Oh, it's just evidence? Then I'll have one of the forensics people check it out. Mr. Edgeworth, is there some sort of problem with my teapot? Possibly. The minty fragrance we noticed coming from it. I think it just might be the scent of one of the chemicals used to make the poison gas. But Mr. Edgeworth, surely you don't think I had anything to do with that? I'm afraid I do. The method used to create the gas would have required considerable preparation. Nobody would have had the time or the opportunity to set that up, except you. That's not strictly true. It took around a week to get Zodiac Hall ready for the exhibition. There were all kinds of people coming and going through here during that time. Delicia, for one. So you see, I'm not the only person who could have set it all up. Miss Scone is on our radar too, of course. You needn't worry about that. And besides, I wouldn't know the first thing about making poison gas. So even if you find some ubiquium in my teapot, I wouldn't have had any idea what to do with it. But I suppose we should see what the test results say first. Miss Bound claims she doesn't know the first thing about making poison gas. I need to find a way to prove that she's lying. Well, she has a relationship with Delicia, who's a pharmacist, and you would think she would possibly know about that? Edgeworth speaking. Sir, it's me! Is everything all right, Detective? Everybody's left the winter wing. It's just me in here now, which means I can tell you what we found out. You really shouldn't be sharing information about the investigation. But after the past week or so, well, I'm not about to stop him now. Hey, as he said, he's real good at leaking to defense attorneys. The exhibits in here have all completely melted. All that's left in the display cases is some stuff at the bottom. More of it in the Taurus case than in the Gemini case, though. Describe this stuff for me if you can. Yes, sir. It's like a pale blue liquid. I had the lab run some tests just now. The sample from the Taurus case just had a bunch of sugar in it. But the one from the Gemini case had 3 different substances in it. Which were? Sugar, salt, and blood. Blood? What are salt and blood doing in the Gemini case's sample? Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir. Please do, Detective. Oh, I also spoke over the radio with the forensics guy working the fountain room. He said he just got word that the sugar they found in the fountain matches the sugar in the pale blue liquid. I see. That might well prove to be a significant development. Gemini case analysis results data jotted down in my organizer. Okay. Anything else to report, Detective? Yes, sir! We found one of those light-emitting devices here in the Winter Wing, too. There were a few of those being used in the Autumn Wing to disguise it as the Winter Wing, as I recall. It seems that the equipment from 18 years ago is more than just for show. I need to talk to Miss Scone about this. Anyhow, I better be getting back to it. I'll let you know as soon as we hear from the lab about that blood. Yes, thank you, Detective. Was that Gummy? Seemed like he had a lot to say. He did, and all of it very useful. If I'm going to prove that Miss Bound's claims about who could have set up the poison gas trap are false, I'll need to talk to a certain somebody else who was here 18 years ago. Detective Bad! No. I wish, but let's go talk to Eddie. Judy Bound. Tell me, Fender, what kind of person is Miss Bound? Huh? Wait a minute. Don't tell me you got a thing for her, Bowster. I do not. Chill, chill. I'm just yanking your chain. Anyway, what can I say about Jude's? Well, she's a brave trooper, for one. What else do you call someone who waits around for 18 whole years like she has for Samson? Even after his extended family kicked her out of this place. What? They threw her out? Yep. Jude's wasn't technically part of the family, so there was nothing she could do. She had nothing, nobody, and no job after Samson took the fall. So she had no choice but to take what he'd taught her and make her own way in showbiz. She's retired from all that now, though. Yes. Why did she retire? She'd finally made enough to buy the old place back. She even got the ultimate cookbook back from the Tangaroa group after they basically stole it. Ah. Guess this place and everything to do with it was all she ever cared about. She just wanted it back. And all of it. Fender seems very sympathetic to Miss Bound's plight. But from a less charitable perspective, she has, in a way, taken everything of Mr. Tangaroa's for herself. Yeah, that is true. Also, does the Ultimate Cookbook have poison-making recipes in it? Bound recovered the house and the Ultimate Cookbook. Okay. Can we talk to her again? No. I don't have anything to present to her. No? Alright. Let's see. I can present this. I think I get it. So this is it, huh? The key to unraveling this whole mystery? Yes, perhaps. Great, you keep hold of it then, yeah? Quickly now, back in your pocket it goes. Guess he doesn't think much of it. Or he just doesn't want to do a whole lot of work. The Ultimate Cookbook. The Ultimate Cookbook. I bet there's some humdinging recipes in there, huh? Any you might be interested in, perhaps? Who, me? None that I can think of. What about you, Casterino? I guess I'd like to be a genius and invisible. Oh, and able to fly. We're talking about medicines here, Kay, not miracles. Could I talk to Judy then about the Ultimate Cookbook? Is that worth talking about if she got it back? What kinds of pharmaceutical recipes are in the Ultimate Cookbook? Oh, there are so many. It would take a while to go through them all. But if you really want to know, well then let's start the show! Come join me as we sing this song. It's a nifty, thrifty 2 hours long! Now one by one we'll sing the things that's the world's best little cookbook brings! What do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? Want to listen to the rest? No, that won't be necessary. Aw, that's too bad. Does she actually have like a whole routine about this song? Can't talk. No. Oh, there we go. Miss Scone, I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. Of course, dear. Fire away. Anything for you, mousy smousy, and dear sweet little tooth decay. No. Tooth decay. I'd appreciate it if that was the last time you called me Milesy Smilesy. I'm not a fan of tooth decay either. Well, you just have to like it or lump it. I can't change a nickname once I've settled on it. Well, I guess we tried. Alright. You wanna look at my prosecutor's badge? Hold on, that badge of yours. It's not the same as Greggy Peglegs. That's right. My father was a defense attorney. I took a different path. Oh, I see! It's like that, is it? Well, I suppose it's to be expected at your age, dearie. But once you're grown up a bit, I'm sure you'll start to appreciate your old man a little more. Everyone goes through a little rebellious phase. Lord knows I had mine. My career path is not the result of some adolescent phase, Miss Scone. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's pretty accurate. Gallery decorations. What can you tell us about the various devices used to decorate the gallery's exhibits? There seem to be some pretty specialized items in use. Light-emitting devices, luminous fabrics. Oh, I can tell you all about those, dearie. After all, I'm the one who gave them to Moody Judy. It was my way of saying sorry after I broke the rules all those years ago. I bought her 4 new lovely soft lamps, and I gave her the 4 pieces of luminous cloth I used for the contest. Wow, that's super generous of you. Well, us girls have to do our best, don't we? Not everybody understands, of course. That had better not be a dig at me, Delish. I told you how kind I thought that was. Yes, back when you were a dear, sweet, innocent baby boy. What happened to you, eh? Dear, sweet, innocent baby boy? Mr. Fender? Can't quite picture that, I have to say. So these decorations, they're all the same as the ones you saw 18 years ago, correct? Yep, salt lamps, glowing fabric, light-emitting doodads, the whole bit. There were 4 luminous cloths in use in the Autumn Wing, but I'm sure I saw another one somewhere. I'm not lying. Oh, it's in my bag somewhere, I'm sure of it. What is she looking for? That's not it. And that's not it. That cloth looks familiar. Maybe I should jog her memory with something so Miss Scone will tell us more. Like the cloth itself? You had a piece of fabric like this in your bag, did you not, Miss Scone? Albeit a somewhat grimier one. Grimy? How rude! You won't get people to cooperate with your little investigation like that, young man. Shall I call it a dish towel, then? And perhaps you used it to wipe up some sort of spillage? A spillage, he says! The cheek! That's a piece of highly specialized luminous cloth. Oh, I probably shouldn't have told you that. I think I'd like to know a little bit more about this highly specialized luminous cloth, if you don't mind. Luminous cloth? Why didn't you want me to know you had a piece of luminous cloth in your bag? Oh, well, I suppose there's no point hiding it now, is there? If you must know, I fished it out of the fountain. It was right before they called me into the Autumn Wing. So Larry's sketch of Miss Scone is of when she was trying to retrieve the cloth. At first I thought it was one of the ones I'd given Moody Judy. One of the 4 you'd given to the gallery, correct? Exactly! But all 4 were being used in the Autumn Wing, weren't they? So I realized it must be the one that went missing all those years ago. Huh? I'd already had my Infesticide Ultra pinched and used to make poison gas. If one of my claws turned out to be used in some sort of dastardly deed too, well, I was going to look guilty as sin, wasn't I? So I kept it hidden in my bag and hoped for the best. I see. Oh, it does feel good to get it off my chest, though. Stress is no good for the complexion. So the cloth that disappeared 18 years ago, the one that the victim was wrapped in, just happens to reappear. Just happens to reappear. Another typo! There's 2 in this episode here. Just happens to have reappeared in the fountain at the same time as the body. Luminous cloth. Okay. I mean, not bad for there only being 2 typos. This game has a ton of text. Making poison gas. Miss Goat, you're something of a specialist. How might someone learn to make the poison gas that was used in the attack, Any ideas? Well, any pharmacist who's ever handled Infesticide Ultra would know, for a start. So you? So you then, like I said? After all, it says it right here on the label. Do not mix with products containing ubiquium, ever. But what about a layperson? It's unlikely they'd know, wouldn't you say? I suppose so, yes. Well, not unless they'd had a nose through the Ultimate Cookbook, anyway. What? The prize from the contest 18 years ago. So, wait a minute. This ancient cookbook of lore has, by the way, don't mix ubiquium with asphyxian in it. The lore masters of yesteryear knew that as well. The recipe for making Infesticide Ultra, along with that, not mixing a bit with ubiquium, is in there, you know. Okay. It really is. Okay. So you're familiar with the contents of the book? Oh yes, dear. I know it inside out. Because I work for the Tangaroa Group, you see. We're the company behind Cold Killer X. I'm sure you've heard of it. That's right, we certainly have. Cold Killer X.
Fights back sniffles and sneezes with ease. Apparently. After Sammy Pooper was found guilty, the company took custody of the book. But they only grant their most trusted people access to it, of course. Which means Miss Scone is one of these elites, I suppose. Uh-huh. Okay. I think we got our logic bits here. Bounds actions and in the ultimate cookbook. The ultimate cookbook contained instructions on how to create the poison gas. And the current owner of that book is none other than Miss Judy Bound. No way! You mean? I'm afraid I do. Miss Bound would have been perfectly capable of setting up the gas trap. Finally, we can prove that she's been lying to us. Investigation complete. So I'm guessing we're going to confront Judy now. And that's that. All that's left now is to await the results of the tests on the teapot. To be continued. Yeah. Alright, so... Ladder, Judy Bounce. Yeah, Judy Bounce Testimony Part 1. I'm going to take a real quick break, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back, and we are ready. Let's go. April 2nd, 2:33 p.m., Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room. The test results have just come in, sir. Traces of ubiquium were found in the teapot.
They were? Just like Mr. Edgeworth said. Curse you! You'd better not think this means you beat me.
You really need to drop this obsession with coming in first, Mr. Winner. We're all on the same side here, remember? We're all trying to get to the truth.
What? But first is best! Everybody knows it's better to be a winner than a loser.
That's really no way for a prosecutor to think. Not a successful one, anyway.
But I...
Enough, Mr. Edgeworth. Please refrain from taunting the boy. Ignore him, Eustace. He isn't worthy of your attention.
But, Gavel... Oh... All right.
Why don't I take care of things here for now? In the meantime, you can perform the far more important task of going and checking on the victim.
Oh, yeah. Good idea. I'll be right back.
Excellent. We shall see you shortly, then.
Mr. Winner's annoying, but totally harmless. Judge Cavell, on the other hand. Now, Miss Bound, perhaps you could explain why traces of ubiquium were found in your teapot. I have no idea there was anything like that in there. Perhaps it's one of the ingredients in the dishwashing soap I use. So you are telling the court that you did not intentionally put ubiquium in the teapot? Yes, exactly. Why would I? Until today, I had no idea that it could even be used to make poison gas. You're a trained actress, are you not, Miss Bound? I'd have thought you would be a bit more of a convincing liar. What do you mean? You have access to the Ultimate Cookbook, correct? A book that just happens to contain instructions on how to create the poison gas used in the attack. Meaning it's perfectly possible for you to know exactly how to make it. You're very well informed, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Bound, is what Mr. Edgeworth said true? The book does contain information on how to make the poison gas, yes. But the fact that I have seen it doesn't make me guilty. Can I ask exactly how the gas was triggered? The victim used a blowtorch to heat the lid of one of the display cases, thereby melting the ubiquium. I see. But he locked himself in the room too, didn't he? Surely that, and the fact that he triggered it himself, wouldn't it point to it being a suicide attempt? So she's not willing to admit to anything. Furthermore, where would I have gotten hold of the Infesticide Ultra? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you stole it. You know, I did bump into Moody Judy a week or so ago, and that very evening, I noticed my Infesticide Ultra had gone missing. I like that she dropped it and you can see her leg kick it back up. Judy, surely you didn't. Delicia, you carry your bag of pharmaceuticals with you everywhere, don't you? There would have been any number of opportunities for someone other than myself to steal it from you. That's true. And I don't have any hard evidence that it definitely was Miss Bound who stole it. Judes, there's clearly something you're not telling us. Why don't you just come clean, huh? We all know you never hurt somebody for no reason, so... Not you too. You think I'm guilty as well, Mr. Fender? Can you blame me? You got one wing disguised as another. A gas trap in one of the display cases. And you're the proprietor of the establishment. Looking a lot like you did it, kiddo. You've got this all wrong. You have to remember, the gallery doesn't have any security cameras, nor any security personnel. If some ill-intentioned person or other wanted to get in undetected, I don't think they'd have much of a problem. Well, Larry got in for free. Wow, you're practically asking to be burglarized. You need to be more careful. A great thief could have a field day in here. And I don't think she's joking. And actually, it seems that Mr. Gusto did in fact enter the gallery before it opened. Sheesh. Judy's one tough cookie. She's not budging an inch. Maybe it's time to rock a little technique Gregory taught me back in the day. And what technique might that be? So hear me out. Everything's connected to what happened 18 years back, yeah? And since we're not getting anywhere by focusing only on the here and now, maybe we ought to approach this from a different angle and look to the past for clues instead. A turnabout in thinking? What? A turnabout? But my father used this method as well. Is it possible to know this power of doing turnabouts? Alright, let's run this through the old Thinkatron. How was Judes involved in what happened back then? According to Miss Bound, it was because of her that Mr. Frost's flavored ice sculptures melted. And yet, his sculptures are here on display at this very gallery today. Is it possible that she... Thank you, Fender. I think I know what I need to ask Miss Bound now. Hey, don't thank me. Thank your pops. Now take it away, Mousy. I'll grab the popcorn. Miss Bound, you say that you were the one who caused Mr. Frost's creations to melt 18 years ago, correct? I'm afraid so. I was young and foolish, and it was a terrible accident.
And yet, what you did allowed you to open this exhibit, no? What do you mean? Yes, what do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? If you are going to ask such questions, perhaps a formal testimony from Miss Bound might be best. Yes, perhaps it might. I'd like to know a little more about Zodiac Hall, and about why Miss Bound decided to dedicate this space to Mr. Frost's works. Very well. If you believe it to be relevant to this case, I will allow it. Miss Bound, would you mind? Not at all. I'll do whatever it takes to prove that I'm innocent. Then please, if you could give us some background on Zodiac Hall and the pieces on display here. All right. Zodiac Hall. It took 18 years, but at long last, I was finally able to buy back Samson's home a little while ago. But a place like this is expensive to maintain, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. To that end, I collected as many Paul Halik pieces as I could from around the world. Because if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Thank you for your testimony, Miss Bound. How wonderful it is that you were able to fulfill your dream. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, everything seems entirely above board to me. Judge Gavelle, that was simply the witness's preliminary statement. As you surely know, the value of that testimony cannot be evaluated without due cross-examination. Spoken like a true attorney. Very well. You may do what you must. Alright. So I like that just Gavelle is like a walking courtroom. Just wherever she is, it's court time. It took 18 years, finally able to buy Simpson's home back. 18 years. You must have gone through a lot to buy it back, Miss Bound. This home, this place, such memories abound. I couldn't stand to lose what I had found. Oh no. He's dancing. Samson, I did what I had to do to see that home was waiting here for you. How does she make it look so easy? I'll say, but I wouldn't expect any less from a trained triple threat performer. If you could continue with your testimony, Miss Bound, minus the singing, if you please. But a place like this is expensive to maintain. Let's ahead. You manage the gallery by yourself, Miss Bound? Yes, well, we only opened today, so I haven't done much actual managing yet, but I have to keep the mansion going. Can't have it falling down around my ears. Samson could come home any day, after all. So she really got the house back for him. I'm so sorry, Judy. I wish I could have done more. Oh, you've done plenty, Mr. Fender. If anyone should have done more, it's me. Even if the only thing I can do right now is to keep this place safe for Samson. And to that end, I collected pieces. Right. Let's... Yes. Paul Halik. That was Mr. Frost's pseudonym, correct? Yes. He adopted it while he was working as a sculptor in France. I see. I'm curious about some of the pieces in your collection. More specifically, how you were able to acquire the Taurus and Gemini sculptures. It was my understanding that Mr. Frost died before he could complete them. Yes, I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on photos of the sculptures he made. Really? Perhaps you could go into some more detail on that? Because if I'm honest, I've always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Okay. Tell me more about this dream of yours, Miss Bound. Well, what I really wanted was to open a gallery with Samson, of course. A gallery of dance, a gallery of song, a gallery of gaiety and candy all day long. That was the idea, anyway. And here I thought art was to be appreciated in silence, not accompanied by musical numbers. Alas, Mr. Tangaroa transgressed against the edicts of the Goddess of Justice, and as such, that part of your dream may go permanently unfulfilled. No! Samson he's innocent! That awful prosecutor refused to listen, but it's true. He'd never hurt anybody.
Mr. Tangaroa gave a false confession in order to protect Miss Bound. The two of them really did what they could to protect one another, didn't they? I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on photos of the sculptures he made, okay? These photos you mentioned, you mean the ones you yourself took in Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago? Yes, you certainly know a lot about what happened back then, Mr. Edgeworth. So those statues in the Winter Wing were just copies? And I didn't even get to see them before they melted. No, the sculptures in question were definitely not replicas. Which means that Miss Bound is lying. I know. It's such an awful shame. And after we went to the trouble to recreate them too. The sculptures in the Winter Wing weren't replicas. They're the very ones from 18 years ago. I need to show her I'm aware of that, or I'll never get to the truth. Is it the saltiness in the blood? From Gumshoe's report? Yeah, Gemini case. To be fair, the game basically just said, hey, this is what you need to present. I'm afraid you've run out of road, Miss Bound. You can lie all you like, but you can't deny the results of the tests conducted on the sculpture's remains. And those tests leave no room for ambiguity. What you had on display weren't replicas. They were the very statues Mr. Frost carved 18 years ago. Oh, I can probably help explain how they worked it out if you like, dear. It's the sugar, you see. You might think sugar is sugar, but the composition is actually very unique. You could probably recreate the statues, but the sweet secret of their chemical makeup? No chance. Thank you, Miss Scone. I don't recall asking for her help, but still. To put it simply, the statues didn't disappear back then because they melted. They disappeared because you spirited them away and kept them hidden for these 18 long years. What? She kept a pair of flavored ice sculptures around somewhere for all that time? It's not the most out there idea in the world, assuming you had a big enough icebox. Quiet, all of you. Miss Bound, have you anything to say in your defense? So you've already learned that much. Should I take that to mean you admit to having hidden the flavored ice sculptures in question? No, I admit to no such thing. You haven't proven that I was the one who took those statues away. And you won't, because it would have been impossible for me to do so in the first place. The police were already here when they disappeared. How could I have done it without them noticing? How indeed. I don't know yet exactly how you did it, but I'm far from ready to say that it was impossible for you to have stolen them away. You're a very persistent man, aren't you, Mr. Edgeworth? I am indeed, and I won't stop until I get to the truth. I see. He won't rest, you might even be able to say. Then I'd better tell you exactly what I did that day 18 years ago. All right, we're going back to the past again for some testimony that, what I did that day. The whole time before judging began, I was waiting upstairs in our living area on standby. During the judging, I had to go change the camera's film cartridge for Samson. But before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. Later, around when your father arrived, I began to make the rounds and serve tea to everybody present. That was when I saw Mr. Gusto entering Mr. Frost's room. And those were my movements on the day it all happened. I hardly see how you could take issue with any of that. That's for us to decide, Miss Bound. Are you saying there's a contradiction in her story, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm more focused on proving the fact that she did indeed steal those statues. The question is, when she would have had the opportunity to do so. If I can pinpoint that, I might be able to prove what exactly she got up to. What I did that day. The whole time. Alright. And what were you doing while you were waiting? I was in my room practicing some dance routines.
I was on a TV show called Bacon Bop with Samson, you see. Bacon Bop? What kind of show was it?
It was a children's show. The two of them would sing and dance as they made a variety of sweets.
Whoa! That sounds awesome!
Hold the phone.
Miles, you used to watch it?
My father introduced me to it. I may have watched an episode or two. So Miss Bound passed the time before the judging began by performing her dance routines. Was this the moment when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? This wasn't the moment. I can't have been. That can't have been the moment she did it. You better listen carefully to what she says. During the judging, I had to go change the camera's film cartridges for Samson. Were you the only one who was able to move around freely during the judging?
Well, I wouldn't say freely exactly, but I was able to move around more easily than the other contestants, yes. Even so, I could hardly have spirited the sculptures away while Samson was standing right there, could I? And I ran straight off to change the film as soon as he asked me. I wouldn't have had time.
So changing the film in the camera as requested by Mr. Tangaroa. Was this the moment when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? No, I don't think so. Because Samson went to go judge the sculptures later, right? That can't have been the moment she did it, right? Before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. Hey, I don't think this is the moment either, but let's press. You entered the room containing Mr. Tangaroa's work before bringing the camera back to him, correct?
Yes, I heard the sound of something collapsing. Samson, are you in here? Ah!
The sound of the chocolate chip falling over after a certain someone took a bite out of one of the supports. And Mr. Tangaroa was still in Mr. Gusto's room when you found the body.
Yes, I'm fairly sure that was the case. He was judging each room in order, and he liked to take his time.
So the point at which he discovered Mr. Frost's body, was this the moment when Mr. Bound stole the sculptures? No. I don't think so yet. We'll keep that one in the back pocket, but I don't think so. When your father arrived, I began to make the rounds. Just as you did today.
Yes, I went around and offered everyone working on the investigation a cup of tea.
Present company included. I remember it well. You were here, there, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere with that little cart of yours. Interesting. And did anything strike you as strange around that time? Oh yeah! Gregory was singing the praises of Judy's tea, and I think he mentioned his saucer was cold. Saucer was cold? Was this the moment when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? I think it is, yes. Miss Bound, I believe this was when you stole the sculptures.
I hate to contradict you, but the fountain room was full of witnesses at that point, Mr. Fender included. Are you suggesting that I somehow got the sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room, right under everyone's noses?
That is precisely what I'm suggesting. Miss Bound stole those ice sculptures, and she did it by hiding them here. There. She had it under the cart. Yep. My father and Fender had no idea that one of the sculptures was mere inches away from them. Because it wasn't just a tea set you were pushing around, Miss Bound, but a hidden ice sculpture in a glass case.
Ah!
Surely such a thing would have been impossible. How would a case of that size sit on a serving cart? It would have been spotted immediately. Who said anything about it, a serving cart? Well, I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you suggesting she used instead? I'm suggesting that Miss Bound used this to transport the sculptures. The lift cart. And this is the cart that Miss Bound used to move the flavored ice sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago. It would appear that the very same cart is still here with us in the fountain room.
We originally brought it for use in the contest. And you're saying that Miss Bound loaded Mr. Frost's sculptures onto this cart and carried them off?
I am.
As you can imagine, all one would need to do is lay a case on its side, add a tablecloth, and it looked exactly like a normal serving cart, thus allowing her to move the sculpture around freely. Can it be?
Holy moly, of course! That's why those saucers were so chilly. They were sitting on top of a big block of ice. Jutes, how could you?
Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole the sculptures all those years ago now, and yet I knew that no matter what I said or did, I'd always be under a cloud of suspicion. So you admit it? You admit that you stole them from Mr. Frost's room? Yes, I do. I took those sculptures in their glass cases out of that room 18 years ago. As Mr. Edgeworth correctly deduced, I dressed up the lift cart as a serving cart to do it, and slipped in and out of Mr. Frost's room while I was going around serving tea to everybody. In the end, I'd removed not only the sculptures, but the flavored ice Zodiac blocks as well. Zodiac blocks? I feel like I've seen them for myself before. Yep, there's a huge block of ice on display here. It must be incredibly heavy, though maybe not. What with it being hollow on the inside. If the Winter Wing really is an exact replica of Mr. Frost's room from 18 years ago, then even though my father never saw them, because they'd already melted, the Zodiac blocks must have been in the victim's room back then as well.
Hey, also, did Ron and Desi just leave after all this? I guess so.
When I had finished moving the two ice sculptures and then the two Zodiac blocks out, I took two fresh, empty cases to Mr. Frost's room and put them where the original two had been. Only the sculptures had been kept in glass cases, you see, to prevent them from being damaged. The blocks were a little more robust, so they had been displayed as is. As stated in the contest rules, we were responsible for providing all display materials, including cases. Meaning it would have been easy for her to prepare those empty spares she swapped in. Mr. Frost's room contained quite a few other flavored ice works in progress. I figured if I'd melted them down somehow, the resulting puddle would look like it came from the sculptures. And that is how the sculptures from 18 years ago came to be in the Winter Wing today. I have to say, Mr. Edgeworth, that's quite the confession.
Indeed, and I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do with it.
That's all I have to tell you. However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you?
What? How do you figure that?
Oh my. I would have thought you might know at least this much, given we're at a crime scene. I suggest you memorize the various statutes or limitations outlined in this book.
Statutes for dummies? Do they teach that at the Themis Legal Academy? Did Professor Means write that book?
Statutes of what?
Statutes of limitations, book data jotted down in my organizer. Simply put, Kay, prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can put a suspect on trial for a given crime. Let's take a closer look, shall we? 7 years from the date of the crime, separate time frame. Okay.
So it's different for every crime? Murder, 15 years. Theft, 7 years.
Oh! Yes, Miss Bound stole the ice sculptures 18 years ago, so it's too late to have her arrested for that crime.
I don't believe it. Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves the removal of evidence from a crime scene. However, as you yourself just pointed out, Miss Bound can no longer be prosecuted for her crime. Rendering your revelation rather pointless, wouldn't you say, Mr. Edgeworth?
I I wouldn't be so sure about that. For you see, the theft of the ice sculptures is in my principal interest here. I find the body that reappeared 18 years after the theft to be of considerably more interest.
Are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body?
I am indeed.
But how do you keep a body hidden for 18 years without anybody finding it?
By hiding it in a very unusual way.
Oh, now this is interesting. Are you telling me that you know where the body has been for all this time, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's not such a big leap if you think about what Miss Bound has told us already. Let's just say it wasn't just flavored ice that she removed from Mr. Frost's room back then.
Very well. If you are confident in this claim, let us put it to the test. Tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, where exactly was Mr. Frost's body hidden?
In the ice sculpture, right?
Let's see.
Do I present the... What do I... Was his body hidden in an ice sculpture? I think it was. Is it in the Winter Wing? Because the blood is the... Yeah, that's the asphyxiant. That's not actual blood. Is it the Winter Wing photo? Let's see.
A photograph of Mr. Frost's works.
And of the victim's body, Your Honor.
You will have to forgive me, but I don't see what you mean. Where exactly in this photograph is Mr. Frost's body?
The victim's body is hiding right here. And there, with the tarp over it.
The Gemini sculpture?
Yes, it may look like a sculpture at first glance. But it is in fact Mr. Frost's corpse!
Surely you can't be serious. I don't see anything in the photograph to support such a wild claim.
That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body in plain sight.
And what piece of evidence might that be?
The court demands that you present what was used to conceal the body. The luminous cloth.
One of the cloths from in the Autumn Wing?
Yes.
When it's made to glow in just the right way, it's so visually convincing you might mistake it for ice. Isn't that right, Miss Scone?
Well, yes, dear, but you can make it look like just about anything, really. Even blazing fire.
And the right shade of blue would make it look like ice, yes. Exactly like it, in fact. Is it not the case that a certain special device is needed to generate those colors, though?
If you would care to take another look at the photograph of the Winter Wing, Your Honor.
You'll notice there is a small box connected to the bottom of the Gemini display case.
That's one of the very light-emitting devices in question. Detective Gumshoe even confirmed its presence. In fact, this particular device went missing 18 years ago. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth inside the display case, which means Miss Bound had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. So you see, this cloth and the light-emitting device were being used to create the illusion that Mr. Frost's body was in fact a statue carved from ice.
No! This can't be!
Wait, so you're telling me that when we took that photo of us in the Winter Wing? Yes. We were standing right in front of the body. Oh my gosh, it was a relevant selfie.
But the body and the cloth were both recovered from the fountain. Why were they found there if the body was supposed to be in the Winter Wing disguised as a sculpture? Because there would have been no mystery as to how the body had been hidden if we'd found it as is. Miss Bound needed to remove Mr. Frost from the Winter Wing in order to throw us off the scent. Ridiculous. I don't recall her sneaking around behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain.
No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift cart. The same cart that had proved so useful in executing her original theft. I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings, and floated it down the stream to the fountain. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way. Which is why only the cloth appeared at first. The cloth Miss Scone discovered. And then the body followed afterwards once it had thawed enough. It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth. But can you prove that it was me? It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusations without proof, don't you think? What about an eyewitness? Do you think someone might have spotted her when she was moving the body? As a matter of fact, I do. And the contradiction in the piece of evidence that was provided will shed light on exactly how Miss Bound moved the body as well. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any evidence to support your allegation? Of course, I have a piece of very compelling proof right here. Then please present it to the court. What evidence do you have that proves Miss Bound acted as you claim? It's Larry's sketch! More drawings. Huh? And is that me? Yes, Mr. Butts drew sketches of people as they passed through the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the cart we can see here. Miss Bound's serving cart. What about it? You don't see it? She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. We know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when this picture was being drawn. What? If I may, I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch. All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolates to everyone. Really? Then allow me to direct your attention to the color of the tablecloth, Miss Bound. I'd originally thought that Mr. Butts had made an error, but he's assured me that couldn't possibly be the case. This tablecloth appears to be light blue. Yes, a shade of tablecloth that Miss Bound doesn't seem to own. The cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hiding just underneath. What? But the shape of the cart is perfectly rectangular, just as one would expect. Surely it would be immediately obvious if the tablecloth was being draped directly over the body. Not if the body had been placed inside one of the hollow zodiac blocks in the winter wing. Placed one of those on the lift cart, and it'd easily pass muster as a regular serving cart. Wouldn't you agree? Goddess of justice. Miss Bound, surely now you must admit that it was you who moved the body, just as you did 18 years ago? I didn't expect you to deduce all that from a single simple sketch. But that sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it? You needn't worry on that front. My case doesn't rest solely on Mr. Butts' artwork. Once you had disposed of the body, your serving cart became a simple lift cart once more, which is exactly what we discovered here in the fountain room. And without a serving cart, you had to find some place to put your chocolates. My chocolates? The ones I was handing out? As we saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart. But the chocolates you gave us came from your pocket. Oh yeah, mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty, though. Why did you suddenly feel the need to put the chocolates in your pocket, Miss Bound? It was because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on, that's why! One moment, please. You have explained what Miss Bound did with the chocolates in the lift cart, but what about the tablecloth? Where did it go? Indeed. Stashing the chocolates in her pocket was the only solution she could think of. I doubt Miss Bound had the time to dispose of an entire tablecloth. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an answer for me? Miss Bound didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth, Your Honor. In fact, it's right here in front of us. Perhaps you would care to enlighten us. Where exactly is the tablecloth Miss Bound used to hide the body? In the fountain. Not in this room. It's in the fountain, right? Because, in the sketch, Delicia is doing something with a tablecloth. I think it is. There's no doubt in my mind that it's in the fountain. I think this is wrong. And there is no doubt in my mind that if it were, we would have found it already, Mr. Edgeworth. Hate to say it, Mouseau, but there's no doubt in my mind that you made a little boo-boo here. It would seem so. You know, thinking back to the first time I ever met Judes, I remember her wrapping a tablecloth around her waist before getting down to work. Interesting. I think that might prove to be a vital clue. Yeah, maybe. And if the defense is done talking amongst themselves, perhaps it can finally enlighten this court. Where exactly is the tablecloth Miss Bound used? Okay, so it's on her person. Thanks, game, for just telling me the answer. I appreciate it. Miss Bound has the tablecloth on her person, in plain view, in fact. In plain view? No. Surely you don't mean... Miss Bound, it's the cloth around your waist, isn't it? And given that the Zodiac blocks weren't kept in glass cases, that cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. All we would need to do is to confirm my theory, is test the cloth for traces of the sugar used in Mr. Frost's work. The game is up, Miss Bound. It's time to come clean. You won't need to test the tablecloth. Huh? Everything you said is true. I stole Delicious Infesticide Ultra, and I moved Mr. Frost's body. Oh boy. It was me. It was all me. Delicia, I'm so sorry. Last week I went into your bag and I took it. And then I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he had tried to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play. Judy! You... Oh gosh! The Judes. Why? Weren't we supposed to be on the same side? All fighting together to free Samson? We were, but I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I'd finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but why do it this way, though? It's not like you. I'm sorry, Mr. Fender. I've caused you so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along, ever since that day 18 years ago. Are you trying to tell us that the true culprit in the IS-7 incident was you? I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures, and I stole them for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in a confectionery contest. They became the final works of Samson's favorite artist. I couldn't allow them to just melt away, not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't let anybody near them, not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong, but I just had to. I put them in the cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I had actually done was far worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures? So she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures. Oh, weird. Samson is a kind man, a saint. He could never kill anybody, never. And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body, and Samson was found guilty. After all he'd done for me, he was my family, the only family I've ever had. He was the most important person in the entire world to me, and I... Jews. After his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return only a few days ago. And when I did, I went to the cold storage room to check up on the sculptures. And that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. It had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute of limitations had expired. So I did what I did today. Because it was the only way I could think of to make things right. It seems I've misunderstood her intentions. Everything she's done really has all been for Mr. Tangroa's sake. Hey, what are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? Something that's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not a more reliable method? And why disguise the autumn wing as the winter wing?
The only reason I can think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago. Yeah, wonder what she had in mind. If she was trying to prove that Mr. Tangaroa is innocent, Miss Bound's ultimate goal must be to... Well, okay. So our three options here are confess to her crime, find the true killer, and ensure the body was found. Confess to her crime, no, she basically just said her crime was that she stole the body. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, my thoughts are coming in here. If she wanted to ensure the body was found, all the statute of limitations was up. All she had to do was call the police and have them find it. So the only one that makes sense is find the true killer. And what that means is that she deliberately put it out there, just as is, to where somebody would have to know that it was the original and would want to go looking for it. And would need to go find it because Artie Frost's body was hidden in there. So I think that means Gusto is actually our killer. Because she was trying to trap the killer, and if Gusto was the killer, he would be the one trying to look at it because he would be concerned that the body was being displayed. So, because Judy was not the one who hid the body. She just accidentally took the body. So, yeah, I think it's got to be find the true killer. Interesting turn of events. Could she have been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit? Miss Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Mr. Tangaroa cleared of all charges, correct? And to that end, you had to expose the real killer and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew that the body was hidden in the icework. So they would have freaked out thinking the body was about to be discovered and come running, yeah? Exactly. But Miss Bound ran the risk that the killer might successfully cover their tracks this time. In the worst-case scenario, they might even have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting vital evidence at risk? Oh, I see what you're getting at. You're saying that that's why the Autumn Wing was all winter wingy. I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the Pisces case you had so carefully disguised as the Gemini case would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident. No. But that would mean the real killer was... Enough. Not another word. Do you realize the implications of what you were saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Are you prepared to stand behind the accusation you are clearly about to make? Miss Bound set a trap for Mr. Frost's killer, meaning that whoever found themselves caught in that trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. But I lack the evidence to support such an assertion. To accuse someone without any evidence is not to be done lightly, so... Should I really go ahead and make my accusation? And name Mr. Frost's killer nonetheless? Yeah, we gotta do it, YOLO! Be like Phoenix. My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. And to do that, I need to seize the moment. Yes, Judge Gavelle, I am prepared to stand behind my accusation. I know exactly who was to blame for the IS-7 incident. Carmelo Gusto. Mr. Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack, is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident? Gusti! Mr. Gusto. Miss Bound, as we have established, you knew that the opening of the gallery would lure in the real culprit. Carpe D's accusations. Yep. D's accusations. And you set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. You dispute the facts thus far. You're a very impressive man, Mr. Edgeworth. Just like your father. And of course, you're absolutely right.
Then perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened in your own words?
Of course. I have nothing to hide anymore, so I might as well tell you everything. As you said, I set a trap here in the gallery to try and catch Mr. Frost's killer. Before we opened, I made sure that the door to the Autumn Wing was the only one that was unlocked. When opening time came, I went around to unlock the doors of the various rooms and found that the Autumn Wing had been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door. The thought, well, it frightened me. And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas trap. When I heard that Mr. Gusto was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left was for the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least, that was my plan.
Judes, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? We could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this.
Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've been so very kind to me all these years. But I'm the one who created this mess. So it was up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took as long as I could get Samson out of that awful place. Judy, Judy, Judy. 18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact that Mr. Frost's body had gone missing. If I went to them now and said it had reappeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up again. So I worked to set off a very public incident here in the gallery, in front of as many witnesses as possible.
I'm so sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory, I let you all down.
Fender, this can't be easy for him. No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, I hope one day you can forgive me. And whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it. But please, if I may ask one thing of you, it's that you simply must clear Samson's name.
The way the truth of these past 18 years had come to light was unexpected, to say the least. And yet, it had only set us down a path towards an even more shocking end. To be continued. Alright. Yeah, this is, the committee's view. Oh boy. So, there's yet more after this. Alright. I will be right back. I'm going to take a super quick break, and I will return, and we're going to keep going for a little bit longer at least. I don't know how much longer this case is. Here we go. Let's finish up. April 2nd, 3:11 p.m. Zodiac Hall. Fountain Room. Mistbound. Are you feeling a little calmer now?
Yes.
Good. Then allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law.
Yes, I understand.
Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangaroa's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit really is someone else, then we have a duty to reinvestigate the case.
There is nothing to suggest that anything nefarious took place in the official IS-7 incident records. And right now, there is nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bound at her word either. So, our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bound herself.
Official records cannot always be trusted, Judge Gravel, especially since there are those prosecutors who would think nothing of twisting the facts.
Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked just such a prosecutor?
That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it's a fact that the autopsy report was faked, seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now.
There really is something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth.
How so, exactly?
By continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs. That's how. Perhaps it was time you understand how the committee sees this case.
Whoa, we're right into it. The committee's view.
The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder.
But why?
And this is how the committee sees things, is it? It is. As always, I act solely in service of law and order.
Sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in service of the committee in covering up the truth.
And if I can't change her mind, there will be no saving Mr. Tangaroa or Miss Bound.
Alright, the committee's view.
Willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma...
If you accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified the report, then why won't you reinvestigate the case?
Because the Goddess of Justice is never wrong. Her verdict remains true, despite
blatant evidence tampering? You sure your precious goddess is into that? Almost makes you think the committee might have other reasons for not wanting this looked into again.
Further investigation is simply unnecessary, since the Goddess of Justice has already spoken.
Is that right?
Alright, Mr. Von Karma. Have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice.
I believe it was a confession that sealed Mr. Tangaroa's fate in the end. A confession secured by Mr. Von Karma, which should surely cast doubt on the final verdict itself.
Samson Tangaroa confessed to the initial investigating officer, one Detective Ian Seidman. The official reports state that it was his interrogations that led to the conviction. Therefore, all I can say to you is the Goddess of Justice has already spoken.
Unbelievable! She just won't budge at all! Are these committee guys really that big of a deal? In many ways, they are our prosecutor's worst nightmare.
So kind of like how the police are to a great thief, huh? Funny how you don't seem to have a problem working with the police when it suits you, though. I've come to believe that the real culprit behind the I-7 incident...
Are you suggesting that Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound killed Mr. Frost together?
Why not? You could even imagine they split their roles as thus. Mr. Tangaroa could have been the one to commit the act itself, while Miss Bound was to remove the body. What? The thought that we could ever kill Mr. Frost? You stole his corpse and hid it for 18 years. Is it really so surprising that you might be considered...
Miss Bound has freely confessed to all of her crimes. Now is not the time to speculate about what else she might have done in the past.
Very well. Then let us pass judgment on what we know she did in the present. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempt to frame him. Okay. Why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusto for the murder? No doubt because he suspected her of being the real culprit. He may have entered what we thought was the Winter Wing, simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. A trap that nearly worked. Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning? Unfortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical condition. It will be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness. In other words, there is little we can do for now. On the contrary, there's plenty we can do. You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Then allow me to spell it out for you. We have all the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack, okay? All the evidence you need. In the manner of the IS-7 incident, we have a body, a murder weapon, and 2 suspects. As for the poison gas attack, we have the sources of the 2 chemicals and Miss Bound's confession. And as for you, Mr. Edgeworth, we also have enough evidence to see that you yourself will have to answer to the committee in a formal hearing. Whoa, that doesn't sound good. Don't worry, Mauser. You know, if nothing else, you're always more than welcome to Edgeworth & Co. No! Your Honor, I'd greatly appreciate it if we could stay focused on the matter at hand. Of course. Now, where was I? We have therefore determined that there is no need to investigate either case any further. You really mean to assert that there are no loose ends left to investigate? None at all? All of the evidence has been examined at length, and there is nothing more to be learned from them. Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Miss Duty bound. Your Honor, I'm certain there's something that still needs to be examined. The hammer is about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop it now. Present what you think requires further deliberation now. Assuming there really is anything left, that is. This isn't over yet. Not by a long shot. There's still one thing we don't have an answer to, and it's up to me to point it out to Judge Gavell. Alright, so... what is it? Let's see. What is a remaining deal here? Let's see. We got the chocolates. We got the sketches. Is it the sketch? That, you know, it's weird that she's like, I'm still weirded out by this picture of Delicia, like, panicked, trying to clean a cloth. That's from the IS-7 incident, so that's okay. That's the Frost Gusto and their sons, right? Hang on. Gemini. Detected salt, sugar, and blood. Sugar composition matches that of sugar found in the pale blue liquid in Artie Frost's room 18 years ago. Sugar detected in fountain water also seems to be a match. Oh, right. Because Gumshoe said he was gonna... The blood hasn't been analyzed yet. So yeah, this is it. Gemini, the blood. There we go. I'm afraid there is still one question concerning the IS-7 incident that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this? What is it? Their test results, carried out on the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the Winter Wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim to have all the evidence. There was blood in the Gemini case? Why did I not hear about this from Eustace? Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. I was planning to tell Mr. Winner about an event myself, of course. You kept this to yourself until now? Despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever? Mark my words, the committee will hear all about what you have done here today. As ever, my interest is in the truth. And if mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. The
if you must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, we must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end. That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace. Guess who's back, losers? And with good news, too. Oh, there he is. It was a close call for a minute there, but Carmelo Gusto is alive. Gusto. He made it. You're the ones who found me. Yep. Long time no see, Gusto. You're the attorney's assistant. You've grown, and you have an assistant of your own now. Assistant? No, I'm... He hasn't got the gig just yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, at your service. Fate moves in mysterious ways. I'm in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, I wouldn't be here to thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago. Huh? What are you talking about? We figured out quite a bit while you were out cold. Including the fact that you're probably the guy who offed poor Artie Frost. What? Is that true? Miss Bound set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then? Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent. Oh, it's not that. Gusto's here is a fan of the old meditation, you know? Om and all that jazz. Wow, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent. Except there's no sleeping involved in meditation, Kay. Hey, Gusto, old pal, how about you snap out of it and tell us what went down way back when? I was caught in the girl's trap, so I must be the killer? Is this your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here. Indeed you are, Mr. Gusto, and there is no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet. Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating. Rest assured that they have no authority here, and that you may pay them no heed. At least somebody here seems to be on my side. Judge Verity Gavel, it's a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I will assist you in any way you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth. Fine. You want me to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to. So this is how you mean to play it, Judge Gavel? You're hoping Mr. Gusto will help you hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record? I believe only in the infallible judgment of the goddess of justice. Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment calls in a court of law. And so long as there are those who would use the law to their advantage, our rulings are fallible indeed. If you would use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you. We shall see about that. What do you advise, Judge Gavel? It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically by opening the Pisces case's lid. Would you be so kind as to share why with us? Understood. I came to see Frost's sculptures. Simple as that. I made a mistake with the opening times and arrived a half hour early. Miss Bound, was there no one at the reception desk at around that time? I had left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked, just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the gallery's opening. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then, but I did make sure that all the wings were locked up tight. All except for the autumn wing, that is. I see. She did all that just to steer the culprit into the autumn wing, which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went. Sneaking into a building's pretty suspicious, however you slice it. Silence in the courtroom. I will permit no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying. The courtroom? You know this is an art gallery, right? Mr. Gusto. She didn't answer, of course. If you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case. I wanted to see Frost's work up close. So I went up to the Gemini. Sorry, I guess it was supposed to be the Pisces statue. And I saw that the lid was frozen on tight. So I grabbed a blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it. When I finally got it open, gas came pouring out. Fascinating. Here's the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of. Yeah, the everything sounds like a lie kind. I am none too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it. Come on, there must be something. It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing. She turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, old pal. So you believe that self-confessed criminal? Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer. You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me. But I had no reason to kill him. And you have no evidence to prove otherwise. Can we really not prove that he's the killer, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas. That much is indisputable. Yet no matter how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past. Yeah, but then what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do. You're right. We may not have evidence, but we have plenty of intel. Let's see now. If Gusto killed Frost, he must have had a reason. He claims not to have a motive, but that can't really be true, can it? The murderer's motive. Ooh. If he did it, he has one. Not many people commit murder just for fun. In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about a probable motive too, remember? How can you possibly say that with any certainty, if their relationship had broken down for some reason? Yeah, that could very well have been the motive behind this murder. Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gusto back then, but we can now. If we put the pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking for might just emerge. Yes, I think you might be right. I need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident, especially the questions that never got answered. And the finger marks. Were you the one wearing the gloves? Miss Scone denied that the finger marks on the frame were hers, but what if they were Mr. Gusto's? Perhaps he had wanted to take a look through the ultimate cookbook for himself. So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think there should have been more shots left than there were. In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected. Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. But he thought maybe he'd just lost track somewhere along the way. My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. And the absence of evidence is the only way to the truth. Here we go. Okay. Oh, yeah, the pictures. So someone took pictures of the cookbook, maybe? Remaining exposures and one of the cookbook. I wonder if that's one. Yep. Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal its secrets undetected. And what if Mr. Gusto did just that? What if he used Mr. Tangaroa's camera to photograph the book? It'd be the perfect crime. So much better than stealing it and getting chased by the cops. A sneaky snapshot or 20, huh? That could work. The only question is, when would he have done it? Good question. What about during afternoon tea? Didn't Delicious say that Gusto and Frost had missed out on the little tea party they had? Which brings me to the next question. When do we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive? Then after the contest began, nobody saw hide nor hair of Frost as he had secluded himself in his room. And the only person capable of entering his locked room was Tangaroa, possessing as he did the only key. Miss Scone, Were Mr. Tangaroa's works the only ones you sampled?
No, dearie, I couldn't help myself. When I'd finished my afternoon tea, I tiptoed over to Chili Minx's room for a little taste, too.
Mr. Frost had kept to himself inside his room after the contest had started. But he was gone by the time Miss Scone snuck into it to sample his work, meaning there's a good chance he was murdered before the end of afternoon tea.
Alright. So... Gusto insists they had no reason to kill Frost. I'm thinking cooperation ended in the murderer's motive, maybe? Yeah. Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create works for the contest together, did you not?
So you know my little secret.
Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs, while you were in charge of the flavor, is that correct?
What can I say? I still had a long way to travel on the road to becoming a master confectioner.
But you only collaborated up through the semi-final. Something changed after that.
We both wanted to show what we could do. Show that we were better than Tangaroa.
And then why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final?
What grounds do you have to say that?
Your own statement, made to Mr. Von Karma 18 years ago. You told him that you had been working together right up until the day before the final.
Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Ice which would have needed at least a day to freeze. And whose flavors would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusto. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Gusto told me. That he helped Frost until the day before the final. In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return? I can hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead.
So, why didn't Mr. Frost help you in return, I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason, and that became the basis of your motive for murder.
That's not how it was. Sure, we stopped working together, but it was all perfectly friendly.
You stopped working together? In a friendly way? Kinda hard to imagine, but okay.
Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? You think I just strolled into Tangaroa's room and killed Frost? I couldn't have killed the man while Tangaroa was in there working on his chocolate pieces, could I?
The timing of the murder. Got it.
So you see, it can't have been me.
I wouldn't be so sure. There must be a window of time when Mr. Tangaroa wasn't in his room. And now if I can prove that, I can prove that Mr. Gusto had the opportunity to kill Mr. Frost. And that is the fact that they were missing at tea. Here we go. We can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of afternoon tea, making tea time the only window during which Mr. Gusto could have killed him. Are you satisfied with Mr. Gusto's story now, Mr. Edgeworth? Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied, but things are finally starting to become clear, and the truth will soon come to light at last. Do you mean to say that you have uncovered new evidence? Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Gusto to open up to us about it instead. Oh, is it mind games time again? It is. Mr. Gusto, I have a question for you. I said I have a question for you.
Yeah, what is it?
You chose to make your entry for the final on your own.
I told you, I wanted to test myself. Wanted to prove I was the best in the world.
If that were the case, then surely you wouldn't have chosen to cheat in the first place. So tell me, Mr. Gusto, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost? Oh, we're gonna send him to the chess dimension? Yes! 18 years ago, Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost collaborated in the confectionery contest. But why did they work together? And why did they enter the contest in the first place? That's the information I need to get out of my opponent somehow. Oh my.
Mr. Gusto seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things aren't going his way. Let's start by focusing on why he chose to work with Mr. Frost. By my hand, now was the time to dig up the truth that was buried all those years ago. Okay, mind chess, commence. Why did you collaborate with Mr. Frost? Mr. Gusto, what inspired you to collaborate with Mr. Frost? We were acquaintances before we were contestants. He was interested in entering the contest, so we decided to sign up together. And your decision to pair up with a sculptor had nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skills? You don't know me! We joined forces because we wanted to make the most perfect creations possible, that's all! I'll buy my time. Frost's son and mine were in the same grade at school, so we got along pretty well, too. Oh? So, you were just two friends who happened to try for the title of world's greatest confectioner? He went back to sleep. Wake up! Pretending to be asleep when the going gets tough won't work on me, I'm afraid. Mr. Frost was a sculptor, Mr. Gusto. I doubt he cared much about winning a title for confectioners. In which case, he probably had a different motive for taking part in the contest, wouldn't you say? Fine, it was me. I wanted that title. Frost was only in it for the prize. The ultimate cookbook. I see. And since your objectives dovetailed so neatly, you decided to work together. But then something happened. A breakdown in your relationship, perhaps. If so, I want to know why. Mr. Prosecutor, I'm still quite unwell after my brush with death. Pushed me too hard. And I'll be on my way back to the medical room. No, wait. Then you'd better wrap this up quickly. I'm already dangerously low on patience. Mr. Gusto was trying desperately to make his escape, but he's not going anywhere yet. Not as long as he's still keeping things from me. So let's figure out what he was really after next. There's no time to lose. I need to pick the right line of questioning and fast. Did you want more than just the title? You too had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? After all, I'm not sure the title of World's Greatest Confectioner even counts for that much. Now you're insulting the way of the confectioner? My goal, my only goal, was to win that title. I didn't care about anything else. You have no idea how much it would have meant to me. Yeah, silly Gusto, there's no escaping the chess dimension. Buying my time because he's upset. Look, my sense of design may not have been up to snuff back then, but you should see me now. Oh? So you've improved? You bet I have! I didn't do all that training in Zhengfa for nothing! Keep going. I looked up to Tengaro, you know, spent hours poring over the designs of his work. Even used to watch his show with my son. Sounds to me like Mr. Tengaro's work was especially influential in your early studies. And with his recipe book, you might even have become the best someday. Maybe. The book was a real treasure, no doubt about that. Any confectioner would have wanted it. Aha. So you were interested in the book too. Got it. You claim that your only goal was to win the title, yet you also seem to have had an interest in the contest prize, the ultimate cookbook. The greatest collection of recipes by the world's greatest confectioner. I can't say I had absolutely no interest in it, but even if I did, what exactly is so wrong with that? Nothing, I suppose. Only that the book contained recipes for medicines, not desserts. And everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that. I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. I can't let him slip from my grasp now. I just need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Next, let's find out why he wanted the cookbook. Did you know what the book was really worth? Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was? What kind of question is that? It was a collection of Tangaroa's recipes. There wasn't a confectioner in the world who wouldn't have wanted to get their hands on it. I don't have a clue as to how to proceed with this line of questioning. I better try another tack. Okay. So your plan was to win the cookbook and use it to help you with your own creations. What else? A book like that could have improved my craft tenfold. You could have made a lot of money if you'd sold it. I don't know much about what was actually in there, but it was worth more than money, I'll tell you that. Oh. You know more than you're letting on. Come now, Mr. Gusto, I think you know more about the Ultimate Cookbook than you claim. They told us a little about it at the start of the contest. Then you know what kind of recipes it actually contained, don't you? And that they weren't dessert recipes at all. I see you did your homework. Fine, so you know what was really in there. The Ultimate Cookbook, or the Angel's Cookbook, to give it its proper title. It's a collection of chemical formulas and ways to synthesize new medicines that nobody had ever heard of. So he did know the cookbook actually contained recipes for medicines. This could be an important clue. All right, now we get the top. All right, time to deploy my clue. Your designs may have improved thanks to your training in Zhengfa, but you clearly didn't do enough work on your skills of deception. You've already admitted that you knew the Ultimate Cookbook was a collection of recipes for medicines. Thereby making your interest not gastronomical, but pharmaceutical in nature. You needed medicine, didn't you? Or no, buy my time. No? Oh no, that messed up. I'm still recovering, so if you've got nothing to say, let me go back to the medical room. Wait, I may need to be a little bit more proactive. Alright, I need to study my opponent's reactions and pick my own responses. Right. Alright. There's no leaving here, buddy. You're in the chess dimension. Making your interest not gastronomical. You needed medicine, didn't you? You were trying to become a pharmacist is a bit crazy. You're a confectioner, Mr. Gusto. You had no professional interest in revolutionary new medicines, which suggests that your interest must have been personal. Yeah! I underestimated you. Fine, you're right. Winning the title wasn't the only reason I entered the contest. I needed one of the recipes in that book. It was for my son. He was sick. He was? Tell me more. That's none of your business. I've told you as much as you need to know. He looks rattled. But I can't let him off the hook. I just noticed he has a tattoo of that quote-unquote dragon he kept making in the past, the seahorse. Let's find out what this mystery illness was. I've almost gotten to the bottom of this. I can feel it. Just a few more moves. Tell me more about your son. How about that? Tell me a little bit more about your son. He was my pride and joy, and my biggest fan. And you entered the contest in order to help him. You clearly don't have children of your own. Any father would have done the same. I would have done anything to help him. Anything! Alright, keep going. He would come see me here at the contest venue, too. Right up through the semi-final. Really? He didn't get in the way of your work? If you were trying to beat Samson Tangaroa, surely you didn't have the time to look after a child. Yeah, well, I wanted to do what I could for him. He said he wanted to always be the first to try my creations. Alright, keep going. Oh, no? Okay. Let's keep going down the sun line. Yeah. Alright, You said your son was sick, Mr. Gusto, and yet he was able to come and join you for the contest. There we go. It wasn't that kind of illness. Nothing life-threatening, anyway. This feels like it could be an important clue. What's the name of your son's condition? Could you tell me the name of this disease your son suffered from? You're a real cold customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough that he was seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell you more? Time to deploy my clue. Wasn't life-threatening. You've already shared with me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening. So why are you so reluctant to share any further details? It may not have been life-threatening, but that doesn't mean it hadn't been life-altering. I see. That must have been very hard on both of you. Of course it was. That's why I did everything I could to find a cure. We were desperate. He couldn't taste anything, not even his favorite desserts. Did he have a taste disorder? Wait, mind my time. He's pretending to sleep. Oh, no, never mind. He had a taste disorder. Okay. Alright, we got it. Alright, I messed up. It wasn't life-threatening. We'll send that out. And then it says he had a taste disorder. Yeah. Here we go. There. As I understand it, the Ultimate Cookbook contains the recipe for a very particular medication, one that Mr. Tangaroa used to cure himself of his own taste disorder. So he had it too? Two, you say? So your son has a taste disorder then, am I correct? Yeah! How did I let that slip? You've been asking me to believe that you needed to win the cookbook in order to cure your son. But was that really the case? Yeah, of course it was! What are you saying? I'm saying that I'm not so sure that's true based on everything you've told me. I don't have a clue as to how to proceed with this line of questioning. Oh, okay. We need another clue. So you needed the cookbook to cure your son. Yeah, nowadays you can get the medication you needed anywhere. But back then, that book was our only hope. Which is why I don't dare waste my time on fancy tea parties. I had to give my all to my work. And what about Mr. Tangaroa's work? Surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to steal a glance at it. But what makes you think I had the energy or time to care about what the others had made? Bide my time. Keep going. Oh, no! Alright. So when he starts sweating like that, we need to push him. Got it. Okay. But you cared about Mr. Tangaroa's work. I think you've made it abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tangaroa's work. What's more, if you were that determined to win the Ultimate Cookbook, I seriously doubt you would have passed up on a chance to take a peek at your competitor's entries. Yeah. I had plenty of chances throughout the contest to see and sample my rival's works, you know. But each time I did, nothing seemed to have any flavor. Must have been nerves or something. Nothing Mr. Gusto tasted had any flavor? That seems like it could be an important clue. Interesting. What's the name? Okay, so we'll go down this. Wasn't life-threatening. Must have been hard. Taste disorder. Yeah. Okay. So does he have it too, or did the son not have it at all? Yeah. But he was that? There we go. I'm saying that I'm not so sure that's true based on everything you've told me. There we go. You were sick yourself, weren't you? Taste disorders are difficult to live with. It isn't easy not being able to enjoy your food. You should know. After all, you just told me you'd experienced something like that during the contest. You said that nothing you sampled had any flavor. Those were your words, correct? Which would seem to suggest that you were suffering from a taste disorder. A confectioner without a sense of taste. Not exactly ideal. Are you sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking a cure for, Mr. Gusto? I've had enough of your speculations. I managed just fine in that contest. Made all my own entries. No problems. Yeah, wait a minute. You were working with Mr. Frost, though. Sorry, but I'm afraid you're contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted that you and Mr. Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim you did it all on your own now. You would have us believe that you are a man of principle, a dedicated student of the confectioner's art. Yet you abandoned those principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. All so you can cure your own taste disorder. You got me, Mr. Prosecutor. As you said, my sense of taste was shot. My son's was fine. I kept it hidden for so long. 18 years and nobody knew. Sadly, you can lie to others, but you can't lie to me. Both Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost entered the contest hoping to obtain the ultimate cookbook for the medicine that would cure Mr. Gusto's disorder, and the money would bring in for Mr. Frost. Thus, an uneasy alliance was forged, and that, I believe, is checkmate. Right, because they said Frost constantly had money problems. I remember that now. Mind chess checkmate. Ugh. I'll admit it. You're good. I never told anybody of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed agusa? Agusa? What's that? It's a taste disorder that makes it so you can't taste anything at all. A confectioner's worst nightmare. Mr. Fender, is this what Mr. Tangaroa had as well? Nah. The big man had what they call dissociated taste disorder. Basically, some things he could taste just fine, while others had no flavor at all. So he suffered too. Can't have been easy. Not when there wasn't a way to cure it on the market. Which is why you needed Mr. Tangaroa's cookbook. Do you admit now that that was the real reason you entered the contest? It was only one of the reasons. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put my mind to something, it gets done, and I won't lose to anybody. I may not have been able to taste it then, but I still knew my stuff was good enough to win. Oh? So you went into the final thinking you stood a good chance of winning? Of course. What was it that Fender said about what Mr. Tangaroa thought of Mr. Gusto's creations? Mr. Gusto's creations were a perfect balance of flavor and design, at least up through the semi-final. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both counts. We were told that your entry for the final was far from the prize-winning taste sensation you describe. What happened, Mr. Gusto? What went wrong that day? Fine. You want me to talk, I'll talk. But you're not gonna like what I have to say. Oh, we're going straight into an actual testimony? Okay. Here we go. My entry for the final. Frost and I were working together right up to the semi-final. I handled the flavor, he did the design. But I wanted to face Tangaroa in the final on my own. No help, just me and my skills. So I helped Frost with his entry, but mine, I did alone. If it didn't taste good in the final, that's on me. What can I say? I lacked training. Okay. And that's all there is to it. Happy now? There doesn't seem to be any obvious contradictions in his testimony. Yep, none that I thought it'd be easy to get anything real out of him. He's managed to not let slip what really happened for 18 years, after all. Why don't you try pushing him a bit, Malzarino? And see if you can't shake something loose. I think I just might have to, Fender. My entry for the final. Here we go. Frost and I were working together right up to the semi-final. Frost was in charge of designing the work you both submitted while you handled the taste. Yeah, he was a sculptor, a craftsman, and his sense of design was second to none. But he was clueless about confectionery, which is where I came in. We each did what the other couldn't. And boy, did you not have an eye for aesthetics. Not even for the simple stuff. Ugh. Nope. Up. How do you like me now? Huh. The national symbol of Zhengfa. Oh yeah, it's a phoenix. That's awesome. I'll say. Pretty different to the stuff you were pumping out 18 years ago. The fruits of my training. I've dedicated my whole life to my craft. And back then, we both needed each other's help. So we joined hands until the final. Wanted to face Tangaroa in the final on my own. Okay. You were serious about winning the title then? Of course. The art of confectionery is my life. Why wouldn't I have wanted to be crowned the greatest? But I still had a lot to learn back then. Guess it's no surprise my work wasn't up to scratch.
But the title wasn't the only thing you wanted. There was the cookbook, too. And you wanted the book even more than you wanted the title. Isn't that right, Mr. Gusto? Mr. Edgeworth, you are badgering a witness who is still suffering the effects of today's attack. I cannot allow this harassment to continue.
I understand, Your Honor, but...
Ignore him, Mr. Gusto. You need not answer that vile prosecutor's question. But please, do continue your testimony in your own time. So I helped Frost with his entry, but mine I did alone. So you're saying Mr. Frost didn't help you at all, but he'd helped you up until then, correct? It's a bit strange for him to stop so late in the contest, no?
Strange or not, it's the truth. Could be he had his reasons, too. I wouldn't know.
If he's lying, it's going to be a headache to prove. 18 years is a long time. Not unless that gizmo of yours has a built-in lie detector, Kay. If it did, it'd have stolen the show from Mr. Edgeworth long before now. Don't worry, Fender. I can tell when he's lying. No doohickey's assistance required. Doohickey? That's such a weird thing to say. Please, Mr. Gusto, continue your testimony. If it didn't taste good in the final, that's on me. Okay. And yet, I heard that your creations prior to the final were scored highly for their flavor. So what went wrong? Was there some kind of cooking accident on that day?
No, nothing like that. It was... I told you, I had a taste disorder. My sense of taste failed me. It's as simple as that.
But Mr. Frost's entry was complimented on his flavor. Your sense of taste hadn't failed you then. Did something happen overnight? I don't think he's gonna spill any more beans, Mr. Edgeworth. Then perhaps I should ask him about something else. Ask about Mr. Frost, stay the course. The semifinal, okay. Did something change between the semifinal and the final, Mr. Gusto?
Not really.
The only difference between the semifinal and the final was that Frost wasn't helping me, okay? So you really completed your final entry without Mr. Frost's help?
I may not have had his designs to lean on, but I knew I was still solid when it came to flavor. So the visuals were the only thing that changed between the semifinal and the final.
That's not true.
You sure, Gusty, old pal? I'm gonna have to call you out on that one, I'm afraid. It wasn't just its looks that got a big thumbs down come judgment time. It got trashed on flavor, too.
Doesn't sound much like a winner to me. Despite his confidence, Mr. Gusto had failed on flavor, too. The lack of Mr. Frost's assistance shouldn't have affected that. So was there some other difference? An 18-year-old mystery, and the key to unraveling it is finally in my grasp. I just need to remember everything Fender told me about what he and my father discovered. Alright, working together. So, okay. Wait a minute. Hang on. The only difference wasn't something... Hang on. This. His father daily up through the semifinal. So his son stopped visiting. Because I was suspecting, because he mentioned his son so much, is something happened with his son. I think that's it. Yes! Okay. I can think of one significant difference between the semifinal and the final, Mr. Gusto. Your son. This is him in the photograph, correct? You told me he was here with you up through the semifinal.
He was. What of it?
What indeed. He was here with you until the semifinal, till he suddenly wasn't for the final. And just as suddenly, your work went from being lauded for its flavor to being lambasted for it. I don't think that's a coincidence, do you? He wasn't just spending quality time with his father. He was playing a much more pivotal role than that.
I just wanted him to see me hard at work, to show him I was trying my best for us. Who knows, maybe it was him being here that helped me do so well in those early rounds.
He talks a good game, but nothing else about this guy screams super dad to me. Indeed, thankfully, we would only have to give such an idea credence if his story were true. After all, how much could the encouragement of one small boy affect the taste of a grown man's work? Mr. Gusto prided himself on the flavor of his creations, but then he lost his sense of taste. He must have had a tough time maintaining his high standards after such a devastating loss, unless... I'm sure your son was here to cheer you on, but that wasn't all he was here to do, was it?
You a very suspicious man, Mr. Prosecutor. But why not try answering yourself for a change? What was an elementary school kid doing here other than to support his father?
I mean, I think it's obvious. He wasn't making the creations, like it says here. He wasn't stealing other people's creations, like it says there. He was tasting. He was the taste tester. Your son knew the taste of your work pretty well, I imagine, Mr. Gusto.
Huh, he was my biggest fan. Of course he knew it.
In which case, he would have been a good judge of whether something tasted on brand, so to speak.
No. What are you implying?
You've already told us that you were suffering from a taste disorder.
I'll admit it. You're good. I never told anybody of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed ageism. Yeah,
we just read this. It's a Phoenix Wright thing. No one knew about your condition. Indeed, I doubt Mr. Frost would have wanted to continue collaborating with you had he found out. After all, it was your job to make sure his creations tasted good. Therefore, your son wasn't just here to support you. He was helping you by taste testing your work. Dang, now it all makes sense. Frost stuff tasted good because it really was finished the day before when the kid was still here.
Yeah. You have a vivid imagination, Mr. Prosecutor. But do you seriously think I'd trust a kid to tell me how to adjust the taste of my masterpieces? I have some pride, you know, even back then.
Did you know?
My designs may not have much to write home about back then, but I always knew my work tasted better than anybody else's. You think I'd risk everything by putting my reputation in the hands of a child? This is just more speculation. That's all it is.
In that case, I ask to speak with your son this instant. Let's see how much of your story he can corroborate.
Sadly for you, my son is no longer my concern.
What?
As soon as I got my sense of taste back, I went straight back to Zhengfa to start my training. And cut off all ties with the kid for good.
What? You abandoned your own child? Ain't that the half of it? No one knows where he is, even now. The cops have looked all over for him, but no dice.
So still think you can prove your asinine theory? I'd like to see you try.
I like it. Joke's on you. I'm an absentee father. Haha.
Yeah, you think I care about anything besides confectionery? Think again. I got my sense of taste back. What need do I have for a son?
Silence in the courtroom. While Mr. Gusto's words and actions may demonstrate a certain lack of humanity on his part, the goddess of justice cannot judge him for that. Therefore, Mr. Edgeworth, I believe it is time for you to admit defeat.
Yeah, give it up! 18 years is a long time for anything to surface now. Proof or otherwise.
Yeah. Mr. Edgeworth, we have to do something. If we don't, the truth might be lost forever.
Yeah.
Where are you, Detective Gumshoe?
Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir.
Please do, Detective. That's the last piece of the puzzle, I'm sure of it. Once we know whose blood it is. Hey, Miles, sorry to cut in on your Mind Palace time, but I was pondering something myself. Our friend Gusto didn't come here just to check up on the body, did he? You mean because he tried to open the case? Exactamundo! Think we have anything that might explain why he tried to do that? We might. If Detective Gumshoe can make it back in time with a certain piece of evidence. That's quite enough idle chatter, Defense. Now, if you...
Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Sorry to keep you waiting!
Speak of the devil. I take it you have the test results, Detective?
Yes, sir! The lab just got back to me!
Detective, please. Court is in session. Now then, am I right to assume that you are bringing us the evidence Mr. Edgeworth was just speaking of?
What? Hey, no fair! Why didn't anybody tell me about any of this?
It is indeed the evidence in question, Your Honor. It needed testing, so I asked him to carry it out.
What the? Why is everybody always helping you? I'm supposed to be the one in charge here.
Mr. Winner, I'm sorry I didn't involve you, but this is important. Can we at least hear what the detective has to say?
Well, all right.
So, Detective Gumshoe, what do the tests have to tell us?
You're not gonna believe this, but the owner of the blood we found in the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case is Carmelo Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack.
What are you talking about? Thank you, Detective. You've been very helpful. Well, it looks like my suspicions were correct.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, what do you mean? Explain yourself. What is the significance of this blood to the case? It's only the very thing the perpetrator of the IS-7 incident has been trying to hide all these years. The fact that your blood was found inside the Gemini case, Mr. Gusto, is as good as finding your blood lying right next to Mr. Frost's body.
Why would there be traces of your blood there of all places, Mr. Gusto?
If you won't answer, Her Honor, Mr. Gusto, then I will. There wasn't just blood in the liquid from the Gemini case. There were traces of salt and sugar, too.
There were?
And if you remember, one particular part of Mr. Frost's work was allegedly very salty indeed.
Oh yeah, you're talking about what Delicia told us back then, right? What was it again? Did they ever? I've never tried ices so scrumptious in all my life. Really? Man, I wish I could have had a bite. Well, scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. That was unbearable.
The salty bit? It's in the other photo you've got there. This bit, the harpy thing. Gemini's liar. Yes, the liar, and only the liar, tasted as if it had been flavored with salt. There were no traces of salt anywhere else in Mr. Frost's entry. Very interesting. Then perhaps you can tell us, Mr. Edgeworth, where did the salt and the liar come from? Okay. Was it, let's see. The salt lamp. Yes. This is the lamp from the IS-7 incident? Indeed, and I believe that the salt that gave the liar its flavor came from just such a lamp. Mr. Von Karma had established that both salt lamps were in Mr. Tangaroa's room at the time of the crime. One of them was used to kill Mr. Frost. And it was stained with his blood. But no corresponding pool of blood was found in Mr. Tangaroa's room. Right, because the culprit had chucked the piece of chocolate with that in the little stream. Furthermore, aside from the liar, no traces of salt were found anywhere else in Mr. Frost's room either.
Ugh.
Hey, come to think of it, the lamps we found in Delicia's room were both broken.
The lamps appear to be broken.
Bulbs are smashed, both of them. And maybe they fell and broke on the floor. We never did figure out how the one that wasn't used to kill Frost got busted, but are we thinking maybe it had Gusto's blood on it at some point?
Ugh.
Anyone whose blood was found on one of the lamps would have been a person of interest to the police. So the killer needed to hide the blood somehow, and in a way that wouldn't arouse suspicion. Are you seriously suggesting that the liar was used to do just that? I am. I suspect that the bloody salt was somehow applied to the liar, so it could be hidden inside the case. Because unlike the fountain water, the sculptures would have needed more time and care to test properly. And so he waited and waited for his chance to dispose of the liar undetected. Then the reason he's here today is 18 years ago, Mr. Frost's body and the evidence pointing to his killer were taken away together. This, of course, was not part of the perpetrator's plan, and thus a new dilemma arose. The possibility that the body, the incriminating evidence, or both would resurface one day. So back he comes 18 years later, sneaking in bright and early to try and cover his tracks. Well, Mr. Gusto, are you finally ready to admit to it? That you are the one responsible for the IS-7 incident?
Mr. Gusto, it's all because of you that Samson...
Gusto. So I finally got caught, huh? All these years later, nobody came close back then. Not even the big shot prosecutor or the attorney. That's some impressive work, Mr. Prosecutor. I have to hand it to you.
You admit it then, that you murdered Artie Frost?
Yeah, sure I do. I did it. I killed him. But he only had himself to blame.
What do you mean by that?
He agreed to help me. We were supposed to help each other so that one of us could win. And whoever won was supposed to let the other use the cookbook. But on the day of the final, the rat finally showed his true colors. Seriously, Frost? We had a deal!
Sorry, I'm not helping you in the final. Our little agreement is over, Gusto.
But I helped you! I spent all day yesterday making the ice for your pieces!
Did you? And you can prove that, I suppose.
What do you... Wait! You were planning to betray me right from the start, weren't you? After Frost double-crossed me, I had to make my peace for the final by myself. And like you said, my son wasn't there, so I didn't have any help with the flavor either.
So much for the pride you claim to have in your ability to make delicious desserts.
Go ahead and judge. You have no idea what it was like for someone like me to lose my sense of taste. I gave up everything to become the best. Everything. I take pride in that. Something someone like you could never understand.
You're right, I don't understand. Do you take pride in the fact that you resorted to murder? Or that you abandoned your own son? Why would I want to understand someone who could do such things?
A man can't afford to rely on other people. I learned that the hard way 18 years ago. My son never showed up on the day of the final. And in hindsight, I wouldn't be surprised if Frost was the reason why.
Why would you think that? What exactly happened to your son?
How am I supposed to know? I told you he's none of my concern anymore. And according to you guys, nobody knows where he is now either.
And you don't care? You're horrible. So with his disappearance, so too went your chances of winning, correct?
Yeah, I had to find another way of getting my hands on that book. That's when inspiration struck. I decided to skip afternoon tea and snuck into Tangaroa's room. It should have been so easy. All I had to do was photograph the formulas I needed and get out of there. But then Frost showed up! I thought I might find you here.
Stealing recipes from the famous cookbook, Tut tut tut.
Frost!
What's this? A cure for taste disorders? Oh no, that's just too tragic. A confectioner who can't taste anything? What will people say?
If you tell anybody, I'll...
You'll what? Can't even hit me, you miserable worm.
Why you? Frost shoved me hard when I went to punch him. Knocked me clean off my feet. I crashed into one of the lamps. Must have been when my blood got on it.
So Mr. Frost wasn't the first to get hurt.
When it was all over, I realized I had to get rid of that blood somehow. So I scraped off all the bloodied bits. I dissolved those salt shavings in some flavored ice mixture and brushed it all over the harp.
And that's how you made the evidence linking you to the murder vanish.
Frost was gonna blackmail me. He would have made me give him money to keep quiet about my condition.
So you decided you had to kill him?
Yeah, I guess I did. Why would I let him live? Would you want someone holding something like that over your head? Besides, he's the one who drew first blood. Makes for a solid case of self-defense, don't you think?
So that was the impetus behind it all.
Anyway, I initially took the lamp to Frost's room. Went straight there once I'd figured out how I was going to hide the bloody part.
Inspired by all the ice sculpting tools lying about the place, I guess?
You're not as dumb as you pretend to be, yeah. Figured I could use them to chip it off and grind it up. Once that was done, painting the stuff all over the harp was easy.
But why, Samson? Why did you have to frame him?
I never meant for the cops to put it on him.
That was your fault. You and the rest of them. Why do you think I went to the trouble of placing the lamps and cloths back in Scones' room? There's only one reason to plant the murder weapon in the room of another contestant. And that's to cast suspicion on that person. What? You tried to frame me, Gusty Pants? Yeah. But why? Why poor old me? I respected Tangaroa. He was the best. A true champion. I would never have wanted him to take the fall. But you're a fraud! Your work wasn't even real! You had no respect for our craft at all. You deserve to be punished for what you did. Oh, Gusty, how could you? And you had refrained from eating Tangaroa's work. Frost's body wouldn't have been frowned. My plan was to wait until Tangaroa was judging your room. That's when I'd sneak the corpse into Frost's room and freeze it. But thanks to you, Bound here found it before I had a chance to retrieve it. I don't understand. Why did you need to freeze his body at all? Ha! Why indeed? Mr. Edgeworth, surely you must know. Why did Mr. Gusto need to freeze Mr. Frost's body? Pass it off as an ice sculpture to obscure the time of death to hide the true crime scene. Obscure the time of death. Mr. Gusto needed to freeze Mr. Frost's body in order to obscure the time of death. If they determined that the murder occurred during afternoon tea, he would have been an obvious suspect. Yeah, bingo! Freezing Frost's body wasn't simple. Preparing everything took time. So I decided to put his body in the chest in Tangaroa's room while I got everything ready in Frost's. At the time, it seemed like the perfect hiding place. Never counted on some gluttonous pharmacist showing up and making the whole ship collapse. I still don't get it, though. Why disguise the body as an ice sculpture at all? The sooner it was found, the smaller the effect of freezing it would have had on masking the time of death. Therefore, he needed to disguise it, at least until it had fully frozen. How awful. Using Mr. Frost's own work to help you cover up the truth behind his murder. Ironically, Tangaroa would have been just fine if the body hadn't been found before I got it out of his room. If only things had gone to plan. He wouldn't have even been arrested, let alone convicted. You mean it was my fault? Everything that happened to Samson? It was all because I found the body? Don't let him get inside your head, Jutes. None of this is your fault. If it wasn't Samson, it would have been Delicia instead. She would have been the one they arrested. Either way, there's only one person to blame here, and that's Gusto. It didn't help that the initial detective was so bad at his job either. He never even told the prosecutor that the body had vanished. So then Mr. Von Karma had unwittingly placed Mr. Tangaroa under arrest in the absence of a body? I mean, I guess it was to explain why he was so keen to wrap things up. Still, you'd think he'd notice something as big as that if he'd taken a look at a few reports, right? Not if someone had been deliberately distorting the facts of the case, though. Either way, it seems that Mr. Von Karma didn't know about the body until after the arrest had been made. But admitting that would have spoiled his perfect record. So he kept it to himself and proceeded to prosecute Mr. Tangaroa regardless. Can this really be true? You don't feel bad at all? Somebody spent 18 years in prison because of you. Sticks and stones, girlie. Sticks and stones. What a jerk! I'd arrest you right now, pal! I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that, Detective. Yeah, so you noticed, huh? I'm glad somebody did. The judge is right. You can't lay a finger on me. What? Why? You just confessed to murder. No idea, huh? Then I guess I better lay it out for you. Okay. It's the statute of limitations. Yeah. I killed Frost 18 years ago. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. You do the math. You can't arrest me. You think I'd have confessed otherwise? That's right. Statute of limitations is only 15 years. Is this really the end of the line, Mr. Edgeworth? Once the statute is expired, he can't be charged, so... But... How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm afraid that both Mr. Gusto's confession
And your deductions will have to be struck from the record, and that Mr. Tangero's conviction will remain in place.
But we've finally proven that the police never had Mr. Frost's body in their possession.
Wait. So even though a guy's like, yeah, I did it, and here's all the evidence, we gotta keep him in prison? That is insane.
Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gusto,
Surely Mr. Tangero has grounds for a retrial on that basis. Does he? I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid that the goddess's judgments are somewhat harder to overturn than you might imagine. So the committee means for the verdict from 18 years ago to stand no matter what?
yeah, bad luck, Mr. Prosecutor.
There must be something we can do. Something to bring Mr. Gusto down. Why you can't arrest me, alright? I killed Frost 18 years ago. The passage of time doesn't diminish what you did, Mr. Gusto.
It sure diminishes one thing, though. Your ability to arrest me. Oh, we can arrest you. We can arrest you real good. I could have you in cuffs before you even blink, pal. Right, Mr. Edgeworth?
This issue isn't as open and shut as you're making it out to be, Detective.
You can't touch me. It's too late for that.
Statute of limitations for murder is 15 years. Depending on your actions over the last 18 years, the statute may not have expired yet.
This ought to be good. All right, I got nothing to hide. If there's something you want to ask it.
Very well, tell us where you've been and what you've been doing since the incident.
Sure. Not long after the contest, I was able to cure my taste disorder, thanks to the formula from that book. And not so long after that, I went to Zhengfa to really buckle down and hone my craft.
That explains a lot. We tried to contact you after the fact, but I guess you were long gone by then, huh?
Yeah, it could be. I left. Let's see. Around a year after the murder. It was before Tangero's last day in court.
Really? Hang on a second. What does that book say again? 15. The statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. Oh, baby.
Going to Zhengfa was the best thing I ever did. Flavor, design,
I'm the full package now. It's a wolf. And all on the backs of those whose lives you destroyed.
What's an omelet without a few eggs, huh? Nothing, Mr. Prosecutor. Nothing.
You're evil.
Sticks and stones, girly. You can't arrest me, and that's all that matters.
I need more to work with. There has to be something I can get out of him. Maybe I can push him further on the statements he just made. Is there anything I should follow up on? His training in Zhengfa. I'd like you to tell us more about your training in Zhengfa, if you wouldn't mind.
Fine.
I think do we have him? I went to Zhengfa and I finally became... I think this is it, right? We just present the statute of limitations on this. Yeah! The statute of limitations for murder is subject to the following condition. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. Which means that the time you spend abroad doesn't count towards the total time under the statute. No way! So it's like someone hit pause while he was in Zhengfa? It appears that there may be time left on the clock yet. But that will depend on how long you stayed in Zhengfa, Mr. Gusto.
It was 3 years exactly.
3 years? Hold on. Nobody say anything until I've done the math. The murder happened 18 years back. The statute is 15 years. Add the 3 overseas. 15 plus 3 makes exactly 18, which means no way! Mr. Edgeworth, you did it! The statute hasn't expired after all.
Bingo, 18 years exactly. Glad you worked it out for yourselves.
He's just been stringing us along this whole time. Why is he laughing? We're good, aren't we? We can arrest him now. I hate to break it to you, little sis, but IS-7 went down at the end of December. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, it's been 18 years and 4 months since Frost's murder.
If Gusto's stay in Zhengfa really lasted 3 years on the nose, it's not enough. We're a few months short. Not enough, but... What did I tell you? You can't touch me! I hate to admit it, but he'd read the board well when he made his confession. What about the thing about the accomplice, though? How very unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. If only the statute had been suspended for another year. Ugh. Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. And you, Mr. Edgeworth, have failed. No! There must be something I can do. I knew it. Well, if the law can't bring Mr. Gusto to justice, then... Judes, what are you thinking?
Objection!
There's no need to go adding to your rap sheet just yet. We're not done here. Far from it. Because there's still a way we can nail him. There is? Alright, Mazzarino, pep talk. I need you to think back over everything we know about the case. Gusto's overlooked one critical thing that you yourself were led to believe wrongly about. Which is, he wasn't there for Samson's last trial, remember? Best I can tell, he doesn't seem to know what the final verdict that came down that day is. Oh, he doesn't know that he was an accomplice, right? Yeah. Organizer. Verdict, convicted as an accomplice based on his confession. Yeah. Yeah, he was convicted as an accomplice. So what does that say about... the statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. So he literally has an extra year. Which means there's still one way left to us. Crack open your statutes for dummies there and take another look. 17 years ago, they really did a number of Samson and framed him like a pretty picture. But if we make good use of that verdict now, we can make Gusto pay in full for what he's done. Fender, are you... Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. Samson's my client, Miles, and I can't bring myself to use the source of his pain as a weapon in this fight. So whether we play our last card or not, it's gonna have to be up to you. Bringing Mr. Gusto to justice can only happen if I use the outcome of that hard-fought trial. So, should I raise an objection and play that card or not? Yeah! My father and Mr. Von Karma. One sought to reveal the truth, the other to hide it. I know which path I choose to follow. The one that seeks to reveal the truth. This court has reached its final verdict. The record will state that Mr. Gusto has been found not guilty on all counts. No, Your Honor. Mr. Carmelo Gusto is absolutely guilty, and I refuse to let him walk away. His crimes are too unspeakable to go unpunished. Do you mean to suggest that you have grounds upon which to call for his arrest? I do. Now to show Judge Gavell something that proves the statute of limitations hasn't yet expired. And that is... Oh, wait. The incident file, right? Because he was... Right? Very well. Is there a particular page of the IS-7 case file you'd like us to refer to? Let's wait a minute. Which page is it? Suspect data. Yeah, I thought so. I just wanted to double check. I'd like to direct your attention to the page concerning the suspect. As you can see, Samson Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice, and it took around 1 year from his indictment for that verdict to be reached. Yes, that does seem to be the case. The book you gave us details certain conditions pertaining to the statute of limitations for murder. One of them, as I mentioned, is that the statute is suspended if the suspect flees the country. And another states that the statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. What? Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice? Yep. Yes, you were in Zhengfa when the verdict came down. Samson was convicted as an accomplice, not as the main perpetrator. Which is clearly news to you. And not good news either, am I right? But But how can that be? Tangaroa wasn't an accomplice to anyone. He was innocent, and you know it.
Oh, we know it. It's what we've been trying to prove all along. And in a pleasing twist of fate, his wrongful conviction will be the very thing that sets him free. If you spent 3 years in Jingfa, and your accomplice, Samson Tangaroa, was on trial for 1 year, it means you can still be charged with Mr. Frost's murder up to 19 years after the fact. In other words, the statute of limitations hasn't expired at all. The goddess's judgment is infallible, but that of her servant, it appears, is not. It seems the prosecutor in charge of this case may have erred. May! Yes, may! May! Unbelievably, we have no choice but to instigate a full inquiry.
No! How could this? You weren't supposed to be able to...
18 years, that's a long time to let somebody else suffer for your crimes. It's time to pay the piper, Gusto, and not a moment too soon.
But I'm finally the greatest! My brilliance has been recognized! I give up everything for this. Everything! Even my son!
More's the pity. But you can't run from the law forever, because the bills come due at last. He made a sugar himself.
Mr. Gusto's all set for his trip downtown, sir. Good.
Which means it's your turn next, right? I suppose so. Judes, I'm so sorry, everybody. I've caused you all so much trouble. But thank you. Thank you so much for bringing Mr. Gusto to justice at last. I'm afraid there's no escaping the consequences of your actions, Miss Bound. But those actions were born of the legal mistakes that were made all those years ago. We all know that. So allow me to apologize in return, on behalf of the prosecution. Oh no, I have no one to blame but myself for it all, starting with those sculptures. Hey Judes, you think maybe you might want me to represent you? I'm not some nervous newbie anymore, and there's no way I'm letting you take the rap for everything. Oh, I'd be honored. Thank you, Mr. Fender.
Sorry, ma'am, but you gotta come with me now.
Of course. Judge Gavel, why did you lie to us? Lie? What are you talking about? You implied that there was no case for a retrial, but as we've proven, that wasn't true. Surely anyone truly committed to seeing justice done would have called one as soon as the body was found. I am under no obligation to answer such questions, and you clearly have no intention of doing so either. Truly, you are proving to be quite a threat to the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. As such, you give me little choice but to report back on your continued transgressions. No doubt, you will be called to appear before the committee in due course. Now, I must be on my way. What the heck? And after you caught the real killer and everything? Isn't that what prosecutors are supposed to do? Regardless of how it may all play out, I will never regret what we accomplished here today. Mr. Edgeworth? Hey, Mr. Edgeworth! Yes? Why did you stick your nose in this case anyway? You weren't even on the job! My job is to bring the truth to light, Mr. Winner. Not only as a prosecutor, but as a person. I don't get it.
I wouldn't expect you to understand, not as long as you believe that closing a case makes you a winner. That's going way over my head. I'm going home. What was that all about? Eustace still has a lot to learn, is all. Huh? Mousy Wowsy. Yes? I just wanted to say old Greggy Pegleg would have been proud of you today. Oh, look at me tearing up. That, and thanks for helping poor Sammy Poople. Of course. Hey, Edgy, looks like you cleared everything up, huh? So, what happened exactly? I was kind of busy sketching. Wait, where did Judy and Verity go? Wow, you really weren't paying attention, were you? Though I am loath to admit it, Larry's sketches did come through for us on more than one occasion. Not that I'm about to tell him that. Quit with the glaring, will you? Whatever I did, I'm sorry! Calm down, Larry. I wasn't glaring at you. Hey, you totally were. You're just like your pop. He was a terrible liar, too. He was? Listen, I'm gonna head out. Need to fill Samson in on what we went down with today, and... Hey, you wanna come with? Yes, of course. Great, then I'm coming too. April 2nd, 4:56 p.m. Detention Center. Visitors room. So what's Mr. Tangaroa like? I can't wait to finally meet him. Oh, he's a real sweetheart. You'll love him. Even while locked up, he can't help but make all sorts of cookies and cakes for everyone. That's why 3 p.m. cake extravaganza is a thing for prisoners and guards alike. Really? That sounds awesome. You think there'll be any left for us to try? Didn't we find a few slices of chocolate cake in the prison the other day? Could they have been some of Mr. Tangaroa's baked goods? Kami, what are you doing here? I heard you were all coming to see Mr. Tangaroa, so I volunteered to escort him. Hello, new friends. I'm Samson Tangaroa, Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service. And I'm Mr. Edgeworth's trusty sidekick, Kay Faraday. It's very nice to meet you both. Miles here is Gregory's son. Is that so? Your father was very kind to me and fought so hard for my case. But in the end, I betrayed him. I made a false confession and... Don't worry, Mr. Tangaroa. Mr. Fender has explained everything to me. Sure did, and now we're here to tell you the truth about what happened 18 years ago. The truth? Judy did all that. For me? Crazy kid racked her brain for 18 years until she'd finally figured out how to set you free. What can I say? Turns out, she really would do anything for you. Oh, Judy. I never did anything to deserve such devotion. Come now, Mr. Tangaroa. I think we all know that's not true. The bond between the two of you has held strong for all these years, after all. You think so? I'd guess I'd better show him. Which piece of evidence is proof of the bond Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound share? Well, it's, she's keeps making the chocolates, right? Because that was something he made. Those chocolates. Judy made them, didn't she? Yes, she did. They're super delicious and sweet. Miss Bound continued making them just as you taught her, even after that fateful day. So that there would always be some waiting for you when you finally came home. Judy! I bet they're beyond super sweet then, aren't they? Very much so, I'm afraid. I only wish we could hand them to you. Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure he gets them later. Which would be a clear breach of prison policy. Not that I have the authority now to stop him anyway. Thank you very much. You know, Detective, something about you reminds me of Detective Bad. Really, pal? Because I looked up to him a lot. He's my role model. You don't say. Seems fate likes to bring people of all sorts together, huh? You hang in there, Samson, just a little longer. I should be able to get you out soon. I'm sorry it's taken so long. Nobody should have to wait 18 years to get justice. Don't be silly, Eddie. I'm the one who should be saying sorry. Or rather, thank you, truly. Samson, well, I guess it's my turn to wait for Judy to come home now. I better make sure there's something delicious on the table for her when she finally walks through that door. Don't let me down, Eddie. Leave it to me, big guy. The IS-7 incident. It's been 18 years, but this case we'd inherited from my father is finally coming to a close. Hey, Miles, thanks for today. And sorry for forcing you to make the final call like that. Not at all. I simply made the call that felt right to me. Huh? What are you guys talking about? You know how Samson was wrongfully convicted? We had to pretend that he wasn't in order to nail Gusto. But to use his own false conviction against him, even to save him. As his lawyer, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Yeah, I can see that. But now that Gusto's behind bars, I can finally start to get that wrongful conviction overturned. Yes, and I'm sure you will. Wait a minute, does this mean that even if you were only doing what's right, if the false conviction had been overturned before today, Mr. Gusto would have gotten away scot-free? Yep. Is what we folks in the trade like to call a legal contradiction. Law is far from perfect. Because of things like legal contradictions, right? Yeah, but you never know. Things might change. The law is always evolving, just like us humans. Your Uncle Eddie and Malzarino included, right? The potential for growth and change in people and the law, huh? So, Miles, are you going to keep fighting crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney? Something tells me you've got a big decision ahead of you. Only one you can answer. I know. Well, let's just say I won't complain if you show up at the office one day. And on that note, it's time for me to skedaddle. I owe you big time, and I always repay my debts. But for now, thanks again for today. I mean it. Did he seem kind of in a hurry to get out of here to you? He did. And honestly speaking, I'm the one who owes him a debt of gratitude. After all, he gave me the chance to reckon with my father's final case. When I was a boy, all I ever dreamed of was becoming an attorney like my father. But then during my time with Mr. Von Karma, I learned the way of the prosecutor instead. Eventually, with the help of some good friends, I found my own voice and a new way to live. Good friends, not that man. But now my career as a prosecutor is at risk of being taken away from me. It may be time to take another long, hard look at how I want to live my life, whether I like it or not. April 2nd, Edgeworth and Co. Law Offices. Oh. Hey, Gregory. Sorry for reporting in so late. It may have taken 18 years, but we're finally in a position to prove Samson's innocence. All thanks to your boy, Miles. I couldn't have done it without him. You should have seen him. The way he fought for the truth gave me chills. It's like I was watching you. Look, I know I'm not half the attorney you were, but those guiding principles you tried to instill in me, I like to think I'm embodying them now as I carry on your legacy. Here's hoping your boy will be joining me in that soon. Am I going to fight crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney? What is the right answer? Which path should I choose? There we go, the end. That is the finishing of Turnabout Legacy. Wow. That case is just as epic as I remember it being. Loved it. That was excellent. So our case next time is called A Turnabout Forsaken. The heat is going to get cranked up on Edgeworth's decision. Of course,
the dual destinies and spirit of justice exist, and we know that Edgeworth is the chief prosecutor in there, but who knows? Some interesting wrinkles could get thrown his way in the meantime. But thanks for sticking it out. We're going to wrap it up. Next Saturday, we'll start with a Turnabout Forsaken. See you then.